the big Seth MacFarlane story is that he was supposed to be on one of the planes
I knew that
for
story.
9/11.
Oh, yeah.
And so he really makes a double appearance in this episode.
And I'm sure, as you know, the other notable one was Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, yeah. And if he had been on that plane, things would have went different.
Things would all be better.
And by the way,
if
just
he'd
he
been on that
literally
plane.
did say that.
Yeah. He laments the fact that he was not on that plane because 9/11 wouldn't have been such a travesty.
Do you remember which flight he was supposed to be on?
I'm not sure.
Because I feel like if it was going to be, well, because I think he departed from Boston. So I think if that's the case, it would have been either the one that hit the North or South Tower.
Yeah.
Because I know the one that hit the Pentagon flew out of D.C.
Right. 93.
Then the one in Pennsylvania, I think.
Or no, yeah. Wait, was 93 the...
I think 93 was the one that
Pentagon,
crashed in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I think 77 was the one that crashed in North Tower.
Okay. I always mix
93, yeah, 93 is the one where the passengers stopped the hijackers or whatever.
Yeah, it was all Mark Wahlberg.
I know that because they kept talking about the movie United 93 in the reviews for
everybody was saying like this fucking doesn't hold a candle to United 93.
I'm not going to spoil my opinions on this movie, but I will say there might be some credence to those opinions.
I haven't seen United 93.
I don't think I've seen it either.
I haven't either, but I've heard rave reviews about it, to be honest. So, and I mean, I think it is impressive that like in the face of certain death, they still were like, you know what? Here's the thing, right? A bunch of Americans were like, you know what? Even though the North, and they didn't know 9/11 happened already yet, right? But like the fact that like the Twin Towers are fucking destroyed, the Pentagon got attacked, they're like, but we can't let the fucking like Congress building get destroyed too. Like, come on. Like, yeah, we can let fucking Trent Lott and Nancy Pelosi get fucking hit with a plane, right? That's fine.
Yeah.
But then we wouldn't have epic clapping gifs in 2020.
Which is true. We wouldn't have Nadler shitting himself walking away during the press conference. So you know what? Fuck Flight 93. You guys are the real terrorists for stopping that.
Hell yeah. Hey, Quagmire. You know what's funny, though? On all accounts.
That's the thing. I mean, 9/11, it's cool, folks. We like it.
It's... Actually...
Oh, shit. I didn't realize. All right, let's yabba dabba do this.
Yabba dabba do.
Welcome to Cage Fight.
The last thing screamed by the hijackers on the flights on 9/11.
So this is episode 25, I believe, of the Cage Fight podcast, where we talk about the Family Man and. Yes. And the World Trade Center movie, which we have been building for quite some time. As you can see, we've got Hall & Oates in the studio.
Yeah, we have been building this episode for quite some time, so hopefully nobody flies right into it.
Yeah. You know who was quite the man-eater were all the planes that hit the towers because they killed a lot of men.
That was a real man-eater moment. Hashtag man-eater moment.
See, so up on the boards right now, we've got Dave, who is, gonna do
testing out the new soundboard, apparently.
Yeah, he's testing out the new soundboard a little bit here. Dave, would you like to introduce yourself at all or talk a little?
If you push me too far, I just might.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Dave, how's it going? I just want to say you're doing a real friggin' sweet job up there.
What?
You're doing a friggin' sweet job up there, friggin'.
No,
What?
we're reviewing The Family Man, not Family Guy. There's a difference.
Well, I mean, oh God. They call it different things in different countries, but I think we're all talking about pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, like Gone in 60 Seconds was Come in 60 Seconds. There's a
Exactly.
difference. I guarantee you in like some Eastern European country, the Family Man was called the Family Guy.
Probably. Willing to bet.
And it got sold in the wrong DVD case.
Actually, the success of DVD sales of this movie is what got the show Family Guy put back on the air.
Oh,
So,
that makes a lot of sense.
yeah, because a lot of people were trying to buy this movie and they accidentally bought cartoon.
But to introduce ourselves to any new listeners, possibly, you already met Dave, who is not really speaking. I'm
What?
Jess.
Who the fuck is starting on this episode? That's wild to me. That
Some people want to start on the World Trade Center episode.
I mean, that's true. Simplify to those guys.
And this is Taylor, I don't know. I don't know if I justify 9/11 that much, but if anyone is new listening to this show, 9/11, if you like it, I like it too.
Yeah. And I'm Mike, and I'm with Taylor here. We're people pleasers, and if you're a fan, we're a fan. And
Yeah.
welcome to the show.
Yeah, 9/11 is one of the ones where on Rotten Tomatoes, like the critic rating is probably pretty low, but audience scores I'm thinking are pretty high.
Well, yeah, because
And-
see, this is one of those movies where people saw it and then they were like, "Well, if I give it a high rating, does that mean I'm pro 9/11?" And
Oh, I didn't mean the movie. I meant 9/11.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I feel like 9/11, the event, probably had a much more positive.
yeah. And
Audience
Nicolas
score.
Cage, why not? What the fuck? The fuck was that? Oh, God.
Yeah, we got plenty of nice little bits in there.
I was gonna say, with great power comes great responsibility.
Um,
All right.
and yeah, we do need to bring back for your information that the kids these days just don't say yabba dabba doo anymore, and it's
Maybe that's why bowling is not as popular now.
yeah, and like getting a rack of ribs that knocks over your car.
Oh,
Like-
yeah.
Yeah, why isn't that popular anymore?
Speaking of bowling, to get completely off track, did you hear that the cake boss got his hand caught in a bowling machine and his hand was impaled like 3 different times?
What?
Yeah, he
What?
apparently
Is he not gonna make cakes anymore? now?
I don't know, but he apparently fucking reached into one of those bowling ball retrieval devices or something and got his hand all fucked up.
How was he?
So, yabba dabba doo to Buddy Velastro. May he bowl in peace in heaven.
May he bowl for soup.
Bowl with soup.
But anyways, we can just jump right into The Family Man here. The Family Man came out in the year 2000. It was rated PG-13. This was directed by Brett Ratner.
Oh, and
Ooh.
pod favorite Brett Ratner.
Oh yeah, he's I'll get to it.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't know Brett Ratner, he was the director of X-Men: The Last Stand and also did very, very prominent reshoots for the movie Season of the Witch, which was a previous movie we shot.
Yeah, Brett Ratner is a rapist and the director of the Rush Hour movies and Tower Heist and Red Dragon and, as you said, X-Men: Last Stand, and he's also a rapist.
I mean, he's a director in Hollywood. Of course he's a rapist.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So-
And that's just kind of how things go. Written by David Diamond and David Weissman. 2
The
Davids.
Daves.
What?
Yeah.
Hey,
Not
Dave.
you, buddy.
They also wrote Evolution and Old Dogs.
Production companies for this were Beacon Pictures and Saturn Films.
Ooh, baby.
This may be the first movie ever produced by Saturn Films. I didn't really.
It was
look
not
into
the
it.
first, but it was definitely one of the first.
Definitely had to be one of the. Runtime of 125 minutes. Budget of $60 million. Box office gross.
I'm going to guess. Let me think here. So, how many people died on 9/11? Like $2,990 roughly.
It's, I mean,
It
that's
said
pretty-
it right at the end of the movie. The other one that we're gonna.
Yeah.
It also said in a lot of the Amazon reviews, but most of the people were wrong about the numbers. So I'm gonna guess 68 trillion.
Trillion. Okay. Well, you're both wrong. It's $124.7 million.
Damn.
That does put it in the black, though.
Hell
In
yeah.
the black. And Jess is reaching
Which-
back to the chalkboard behind us and
Yeah.
tallying.
Yeah, I have to get all of that together.
The,
Like,
the
I gotta
mental math
collate
has
some
not been
numbers
very
here.
successful on the show.
Yeah, so we have big displays.
That's 16 movies so far that have been in the black.
16
Fuck
out
yeah.
of 44, I think.
It will be 44 by the end of this
Yeah.
episode. but
So
yeah.
Not a great track record.
not
for
a
Nick
great
Cage.
track record, but we're one more closer to the fuck.
On Rotten Tomatoes, this movie got a 53% from critics, but from audiences, a 67%.
Ooh, so you got it fresh from the audience.
Mm-hmm. And just barely fresh from the critics.
I think fresh is 60%.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well, there's
then
a rotten.
no.
And there's a few critics who were just a little bit short of Christmas spirit.
That's all I have for like general facts there. You got like special fun facts, extra fun.
So there's a lot of trivia for this movie on IMDb, and it is all completely fucking boring. Like, I read through all of it, and I was like, I don't give a shit about any of this, and I don't want our listeners to have to fucking put up with this. So the only real piece of trivia I have here is that John Travolta was one point set to star. And also, I just added one that they should have named the main character Bah Humbug.
Okay, so I have a thing, right? So, like, how come every movie, I swear to God, it's either Fred Durst Friday or Cage Fight. John Travolta shows up like 90% of the time. in
Yeah,
some
John
capacity.
Travolta, I think, was also in talks for World Trade Center at some point. Like, pretty much any role that Nicolas Cage has filled was almost filled by John Travolta, or he co-stars with John Travolta.
Can we call this like the face-off phenomenon? Like, seriously?
Honestly,
I think it should be called the face-off phenomenon if we're going to put a name to it.
yeah.
And if you look into it, actually, John Travolta has been almost in as many movies as Nick Cage.
That's
So,
true.
I think he's just like 10 short on
Yeah.
Cage's record. So
He's basically like the Scientology version of Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
So
whereas
whatever that means.
Nicolas Cage is the New Orleans version of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
New
Is the
Orleans
Italian
version.
Catholic version. Well, wait, no, fuck. Is the straight version of John Travolta.
He's the straight version of John Travolta who hasn't desecrated his son's grave
Yeah.
And his memory.
and his memory.
Jesus Christ.
Listen to Fred Durst
did-
Friday for more on that.
Yeah. That
You'll be a
was-
big fanatic of that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that all you have for trivia there? Or-
Yeah, truly, if you want to know more about this movie, for some reason, look it up, but don't get your hopes up because nothing really interesting going on there, except for a lot of it is just like, oh, this is the reverse It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, yeah.
But I've never seen It's a Wonderful Life, and I don't care. So,
Then jumping into a plot summary here. So this movie opens in 1987 at the airport. Cage is saying goodbye to his partner Kate as he's about to get on a plane to London. She says like the classic Jedi line, "I have a bad feeling about this," and tries to get him to stay, but he still leaves to London for his year-long internship because this is going to be big and open so many doors for him.
yes, physical doors and metaphorical doors.
The doors of perception.
The Jim Morrison
Yeah, I was going to say the
ones.
Jim Morrison doors. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. And
He
Kate,
will break on through to the other side.
Oh, yeah.
From this.
Kate played by Tia Leone.
Tia Leone,
Yes.
who I mainly know from Jurassic Park 3.
I was literally going to
Hell
say
yeah.
that's where I knew her from. Yeah.
And she's a real friggin' piece of work in Jurassic Park 3. Is she William H. Macy's ex-wife or wife? Or
I think it's like ex-wife.
yeah.
I don't know if it's ex-wife or if they're just separated. It
Yeah,
doesn't
It's
they're,
matter.
something
they're
like
like
that.
separated and
They're not
to,
doing hot before they almost get eaten by dinosaurs, and
Yeah.
then they're fine.
But then they get hot for each other again.
yeah.
Yeah,
Which I mean,
because-
who wouldn't get hot for William H Macy? He's
Yeah,
fucking hot as
in the
shit.
face of danger,
Mhm.
you're not gonna pick Sam Neill over William H.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. And honestly, that scene was really funny. Because like I thought I had skipped like the majority of the movie by accident. I'm like, wait, did I accidentally fast forward through the movie? Like it felt so out of place as an opening scene.
Oh, yeah. I thought it kind of fit.
It kind of
'Cause
did,
I
but
could
there
see
was
it.
no character development. And I swear to God, like the first frame of it, it's like, blah, blah, it's like you can't leave. And I'm like, wait, did I just skip the fucking shit? Like what? Like,
Yeah, I mean it starts kind of abruptly, and it I don't know about you guys, but it really made me think that we were about to get like a Final Destination opening.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's like, don't get on the plane.
And the whole movie is just him just being like, I need to find a past where we don't die.
Yeah, what would have happened if I didn't get on the plane?
It's like Butterfly Effect in Final Destination.
That's what this movie could have been.
Nicolas Cage stars in The Family Man.
So then in the year 2000, so 13 years later, we see Cage waking up and he has some other lover leaving his room. He's back in NYC. He's living it up. He's singing Italian opera as he gets dressed for some reason.
And he's looking pretty hot as he's getting dressed, though. He's got a nice body.
Yeah, he's not looking too bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's no Red Rock West bod, but it's pretty Red Rock hard.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. He's a big Wall Street executive. And while he's doing some work, he does get a message apparently from Kate, the girl that he left when he left for London 13 years ago. I also want to point out at one point, Cage's boss says to him, or is it just the owner of the company? I don't know. He says,
The old guy?
Yeah, the old guy. You're a credit to capitalism, Jack.
Oh,
I
yeah.
noticed that line. I knew you'd find that funny.
That was fantastic because basically the whole thing is they're working late on Christmas Eve.
Yes.
And everybody's like, I want to get back to my family. And Nicolas Cage is like, I like money more.
Yeah.
And of course, the boss guy feels the same way.
He's like, you want to go back to your family? Man, you can't do that.
And so
We got a deal to make.
they fist bump each other over loving making money more than anything else in the whole GD world.
Which is why Nick Cage in this movie at the beginning is really cool.
Yeah, and then he gets fucking cooked out. We'll get there.
So as he's leaving on Christmas Eve to go home, Cage witnesses Don Cheadle threatening a store owner with a gun.
And I believe his character name in the movie is Magic Black Man.
He is Magic Blackman, yes. Who's named Cash, I believe, actually.
No, his name is Magic Black Man.
Yeah, and then also the clerk is played by that one actor whose name I can't remember, but he plays like Miles on Lost. And he's doing he's an Asian actor who's doing like a super racist Asian voice, even though that's not.
And he was
what
raised
sounds
in like suburban
all.
DC
yeah,
or some shit.
And so I feel like that was probably early in his career when people were like just hiring him to be a stereotype, and that made me feel sad.
I mean, I feel like that's what Brett Ratner would just be. He's like, yeah, just get a stereotype. That's fine.
Oh yeah, I mean, after directing the Rush Hour movies, which I haven't seen in a while, but I think there might be a racial stereotype or two in there. So yeah, not a far cry for him.
So Cheadle is like threatening the owner with a gun to get him to honor a lottery ticket for $238, and Cage de-escalates the situation by making a business deal. He then tries to get Cheadle to go to school and make his life better.
Yeah, I love it. He's like, you know what? You just got to work hard. And he's literally giving them bootstrap narrative.
Yeah,
on
he's
Christmas
giving the
Eve.
bootstrap narrative to a red. It's so fucking weirdly cringy.
It really is. To be fair, I think that's kind of like a self-aware thing. Like, ooh, this out-of-touch fucking rich piece of shit
Mhm.
kind of thing. I don't think they were trying to make that a sympathetic like line out of him, to be honest.
Work hard, play never.
Yeah. Except for me, because I'm fucking Nick Cage.
So then Cheadle says, "You brought this on yourself," after Cage says, "I have everything I need."
Yeah, once again, victim blaming. Like, why is Magic Black Man victim blaming the rich white man?
So what he means by "you brought this on yourself," Cage doesn't know, but he will very soon, like the next scene.
Dun dun dun.
How ominous.
He wakes up the next day to find himself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife. And he asks himself,
What the fuck happened?
how did I get here? Letting the days go by. I'm sorry. Sorry, I just feel that the plot of this movie matches, in addition to Family Man, the song there, Once in a Lifetime by the Talking Heads. I think the writers may have just listened to that song and then wrote a movie based on the lyrics there.
As the days go by, the
Glycerine.
water, something about the water
Yeah. Wait,
underground.
water
I made a
flowing
shitty
underground,
reference, so.
and then I think it's Into the Blue again, after the money's gone. Right?
After the money's gone, and the burning gird.
And like I said, as the days go by,
This is not my
Glycerine.
beautiful house.
Glycerine.
Terrible song, by the way.
Glycerine.
Yeah, terrible song.
I'm never alone. I'm alone all the time.
Oh, okay.
It's funny that you bring that up because I've been listening to Remain in Light all week. So I was prepared for this. Oh shit!
Oh shit, we got a hack.
Was that a David Byrne burn? Was that a burn burn?
Oh shit, he's calling him a hack. So the beautiful wife is Kate, that girl he left for London all that time ago.
What the frickin' heck?
Yeah.
And it is Christmas Day of the same year.
So 2000.
Yep, 2000.
Only 9 months away from the best day of our lives.
And he's in that house, and like their families are coming over. Or is he related to Big Ed or whatever? I don't fucking
No,
know.
that's like his like dad-in-law or something.
Oh, it is his father-in-law. Okay, that's what I thought.
Heck. Do the no. There we go.
But Cage is panicking, so he drives to work and finds that no one there recognizes him.
What the fuck?
Driving in his fucking sweatpants and a he's driving a minivan. Oh, and you also missed the fact that there was a very prominent shot of the Twin Towers as you were driving
yeah,
into
oh,
New
yeah,
York
true.
City.
Oh yeah.
It'll become very relevant later on in
This movie only a year away from those fateful
Not
events.
even, oh, well, I mean, it's set like, a year, but yeah.
Oh shit, it's only set about 9 months before.
Yeah, and
It's only 9 months and 11 days from
also,
that.
yeah, if this movie was set 9 months later, the final scene would not have happened. So
Cage is trying to figure out what the hell's going on. We, as the audience, probably immediately figured it out the moment he woke up in the bed, or at least I did.
yeah, because we've
Yeah,
seen
I did too.
that movie Dr. Scrooge
Yeah.
with the guy from Lorne Michaels. The Dr. Scrooge movie with
Yeah,
Lorne Michaels.
Dr. Scrooge. It's where he rides the TARDIS, right?
Yep.
Outside the building, he sees Cheadle again, driving Cage's Ferrari.
But he's not like gangster anymore.
You know, he's not gangster anymore. Now he's high class.
What the heck?
Businessman.
Yeah, he's magic rich black man.
What the heck?
So Cheadle tells him to get in and explains to Cage that he's now in a glimpse of what his life could have been. Cheadle then gives Cage a bike bell and tells him to go home. And I thought that bike bell would become more relevant, but I mean, it kind of does later, but I don't know.
It barely becomes
I think it's
relevant.
supposed to be symbolic of like if you give up the life of money to become a married man, you might as well have a fucking bell around your neck dingling around all the time because
Yeah.
you're fucking.
You get the fucking
Symbolic
ball
of
and
the old
chain
ball
telling you
and
what to
chain.
fucking
Yeah.
do.
So
When all I want to do is just fucking go home, just put my hand down my pants and watch the fucking wrestling.
exactly. And here comes frickin' War Machine to tell him, hey, you made the right choice. So
Absolutely. Cage then goes home, discovers that he is married to Kate, and his family. Yeah, this family man is. His family is worried sick about him and like super angry about how he just ran off in the morning without telling them what he was doing or where he was going.
Yeah, because he skipped Christmas with his family
Yeah.
that he's loved for so long.
yeah, and they're worried so sick that frickin' Tiny Tim's got frickin' colon cancer. So
He tries to explain that this is not his beautiful house and this is not his beautiful wife. But he ends up just apologizing because obviously no one's going to really believe that all of a sudden, or they believe you're having a psychotic break or something. But so he gets ready for a party that he's got to go to with Kate at some mutual friend's house. At the party, he starts immediately pounding drinks. There's a woman there who seems to flirt with him
I was
hard.
going to say he probably wants to pound something else at that party.
He does, yeah.
there's a few things to pound here, brother.
And he doesn't know anything about what his friends are talking about at all. One of them's getting like bypass surgery. They all like the Mets. He hates the Mets, I guess.
And that's the thing is that
What the frick?
one of them is played by Jeremy Piven, who's playing himself in this movie.
Jeremy Piven always plays himself, which is why you always hate his character. So
This is probably the most likable I've ever seen Jeremy Piven, and even then I still want to fucking punch him in the face.
that's true. Yeah, even in this like supposed to be heartwarming story,
He's still a fuckface.
I would love to take a sack of fucking potatoes and whack him in the neck with it. So
I don't know. I can't hear Jeremy Piven without thinking of the comedy Bang Bang. The
Jeremy
Jeremy Piven
Piven.
to you. I'm sorry. But
rest in peace, Scott Aukerman.
oh shit, is he dead?
Well, I don't know. This episode won't come out for like a month, so maybe.
Just predictive like that.
Hope you're alive and well, Scott.
And he also finds out that Kate is a nonprofit pro bono lawyer, and he's like really upset by the fact that she's not making more money.
Well, you know, Tay Leone in this movie. I mean, I'm pro boner for.
Ah,
you know
come
what I mean?
on.
It's pretty hot. Love me some blonde milfs.
Hell yeah.
Even with
yeah.
short hair, it's fine.
Yeah, shorter the better, baby.
I used to love a bald woman. Like,
Mm.
I want them bald blonde women.
Oh god, it's so hot.
Bald blonde MILF? Is that what
Yeah,
you want?
fucking
I'll find you one.
come on her skull and just rub it in.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm gonna move out of here before we get into. But the next day, Cage wakes up, disappointed to still be in this glimpse. He has a very hard time trying to change his baby's diaper.
Yeah, he's like the worst fucking dad ever. He's like, what the fuck is this gross ass shit?
And then, you know, there's the scene that with every baby in a movie from the 90s and early 2000s where they take off the diaper and it pees into the air.
Yeah, I saw that scene like a fucking like mile away. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
no,
the baby's gonna piss, and like everyone's gonna be like, oh no, baby's pissing. It's
He
like,
looks directly at the camera and shrugs, and then there's a sudden narrator that says, "What's next for Mr. Mom?"
there's like a little record scratch. Like, you're probably wondering how I got here.
So his daughter, who is like maybe 6-ish, 7, somewhere in there.
She's
maybe,
real little, and
Yeah.
she's a great actress. by the way.
She is good for a child actor. That's true.
Oh, no, I'm just kidding. I thought she was dog shit in this movie.
She says, "You're not really my dad, are you?" And Cage comes clean to her like immediately. Just says everything like, "Yeah, I don't know. Your dad, maybe he'll come back at some point."
Listen,
Not
honey,
me.
we're stuck in what's called an alternate history, okay? And then she has a
We're
fucking...
stuck in a plot contrivance that occurs quite a bit in Hollywood movies of this era, and
She has a fucking wild existential crisis and ends up fucking sucking on the barrel of a gun. So
well, I don't recall that scene. Maybe that's a deleted.
that was
scene, but-
definitely one of the deleted. That was in the Brett Ratner director's cut.
oh yeah, that was in the Eli Roth remix.
You don't have to bring in Eli Roth. Brett Ratner's already a sinister enough person to do something like that.
That's true. That's true. I
she-
apologize for invoking Eli Roth.
She believes aliens created a replacement dad for her and put them there. And she's like, okay, well, I'll help you while you're adjusting into this life. She begins to walk him through his life until he takes her to daycare. And he also finds out through her that he works at Big Ed's Tires as a tire salesman.
I kind of liked when he was handing the baby off at the daycare. He's like, do I get a receipt or something?
Oh,
that was
yeah.
pretty funny.
So, at his job, he doesn't know what he's doing, basically, because, you know, like he's walking into a job that he's expected to know how to do because he's been doing it for years.
That's the thing. No one in a sales position knows what the fuck they're doing
That's true.
anyways. So you know what? Nick Cage, you'll figure it out as you go along.
It's true. And he realizes, as we all did probably immediately in this scenario, that he didn't go to London in 87, and that's why he's with Katie.
The heck?
He also realizes Kate is very beautiful during all this time. He's like, wow.
And
you grew
Tay
up to be
Leone
such
is
a
really
beautiful
cute.
woman.
So
She is really beautiful, but
She
he
is.
doesn't have the benefit of post-nut clarity at this time as he did before.
yeah, he hasn't fucked in like 3 days.
In this fucking history, he maybe hasn't fucked since that baby was born. So I don't know.
Possible.
Because you know when you freaking get married, you freaking stop having the bone.
Family man.
Mhm.
So,
That's the thing. The fucking ball and chain won't get down on her knees and suck me off.
Yeah, not anymore.
So the next day at the mall, he demands to buy a $2,400 suit and gets very pissy when his wife says no, saying she makes him give up on all his dreams. They kind of make up, and he pieces a little bit more of his life's backstory together. At the bowling alley, his bowling game sucks because he hasn't actually gone bowling in this reality, really.
Yeah, and
And-
Cake Boss is on his fucking team.
Jammed up the ball return.
I mean, if you had to fucking be in a bowling team with Jeremy Piven and Cake Boss guy, you'd probably suck shit too. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true. Especially because there's all that fucking skin backed up in the fucking bowling machine.
Plus, you talk about Eli Roth. I don't know if you know, but he was on that team as well. And it was one of the balls in the return pit was a severed guy's head.
Oh, God.
You don't remember that scene from Cabin Fever?
I actually just watched Cabin Fever a couple days ago, so I know exactly what you're talking
Oh,
about.
okay, good. I was gonna say.
The only thing I remember from Cabin Fever is the pancakes.
I remember everything from Cabin Fever, sadly.
But so that lady from the Christmas party who was all flirty with him is there, And she had sultry eyes. She made it totally clear that she was his for the night. And he said, "Oh, come on, Dave. That was the perfect chance for the soundboard. Damn
What?
it.
What?
Leave me alone. I'm a family man." Okay. But no, he doesn't. Okay. He doesn't actually
Thanks,
say
Dave.
"leave me alone." She says she wants to have an affair with him, and he's like, "Well, fuck yeah." So he goes over to Jeremy Piven, and he's like, "Hey, Jeremy Piven, she wants to fuck me. What's her address?" And Jeremy Piven is like, "Man, I'm not gonna do that, and you'd be an idiot to throw away your life with Kate. Everybody would like give everything to be with her."
If she wants to fuck him, then why does he need to get her address from somebody else?
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know why the fuck he didn't ask her, but but yeah, so Cage goes home and he's like, "Well, I guess I'm not getting laid by that lady tonight, so I'll try and fuck my wife."
Damn. My
But-
beautiful wife, who I hate.
Yeah, my goddamn beautiful fucking bitch of a wife. But like he fucks up the dirty talk. I think she wanted him to say "I love you," and he says, "Ooh, you're such a dirty girl," and she's not into that.
Yeah, she's actually not really a dirty girl. She's really nice.
She's
Well, she's also
very
really
cleanly.
clean, as we saw in an earlier scene in the shower when she's just rubbing all up
Oh,
in
yeah.
the fucking bathtub.
Yeah, and actually in the extended version, she has a loofah and it goes right up wherever you need it to. So
So she's actually very clean
Yeah.
from the 15 showers she takes a day.
yeah, and if she's not, she's doing something wrong. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
So after that, Cage watches an old video he finds of him singing to Kate at her birthday party, and it makes him all like wistful and sad. And I think this is the first time we've ever seen in a movie seen Cage singing. Is it? I don't think
At
we've
least
seen him
that-
sing
that I
before.
can
Well,
think
earlier
of.
in this movie.
Oh yeah, that's true. He was singing.
And he's also much
singing
better
opera.
at the beginning in this movie too.
Forgot about it.
He kind of
Yeah.
sucks shit in
Yeah.
that one. He's like,
Yeah, before
"Oh,
he could afford opera singing training. you know?
Yeah, he
That's
knew
true.
Italian before. Now he just sounds like a fucking schmuck.
I will say though, that was I don't know if that was intentional or not, but if that was intentional, that was pretty smart to like make him a shitty singer in like the alternate reality, but like make him like at least competent. In
Well,
the
yeah,
real
he
world.
actually to get prepared for this movie took singing lessons for 14 years, but then
Yeah.
they said we don't want you to be a good singer.
Well, so
So
that's the
he
thing is
took
that he
singing
actually
lessons on how to be a bad singer for 14
yeah.
more years.
he
like
actually
Brian Singer, that's
he
a bad
actually
singer
went
right there.
to prepare for that. He actually went back in time and they told him that would you like to be a castrato? So he actually got castrated
Yeah.
to learn how to sing for this movie to be a
Well, it's
castrato.
Nicolas Cage. Why not? That's
But so the next day, it is Cage and Kate's birthday.
It was the anniversary.
Anniversary. I don't know why I said birthday.
the anniversary of her birthday.
So then, she bought him a suit after he was so angrily yelling about how he needs that $2,400.
Yeah, at the
suit.
outlet store is a generic version of that amazing fucking suit.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking cheap cunt. Seriously. Try fucking harder.
But Cage has to come clean that he forgot their anniversary because I mean, did he really forget it? Because he never knew it.
didn't.
Right?
Yeah, he never really knew
I
it.
don't know
Yeah.
when the fuck we got married.
Yeah, he literally got transported to this alternate reality like 3 fucking days ago, and he tried to piece together like 13 years of their relationship that
Yeah,
never
hopefully
happened.
next
Give
time,
him a fucking break.
Hopefully next time I get transported into an alternate reality, I have a day planner with some important dates written in it because I don't know what the fuck's happening here.
So to make up for it, he takes her out to a fancy dinner in the city. And while he's there, he tells her he feels, with air quotes, that he's been living a different life than he used to. But he also says, like, he's sure he'd rather be with her than anywhere else in the world. And
Even though she's ugly as fuck.
it's looking like Cage is finally at home in his new life here. He's happy with Kate and the kids. You know, he's having good times. And then
Yeah.
all of a
He's
sudden,
trying to get his stuff together. He's finally like being competent at being the person that he's supposed to be.
He's being a real
Family man.
There we go. Then at work, his old boss shows up. Yeah, I think his name is like Lassiter or something.
Yeah, John Lasseter.
John Lasseter,
is a director of
and another
several
rapist.
Pixar movies. No, come on.
He is.
Oh,
Fuck.
fuck. All right.
That's unfortunate. I thought that's why you were saying that.
No.
Wait, is he really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Actually, I'm not pretty sure. I'm positive. Yeah, he's.
God damn it!
Just dropping some blind items over here.
Yeah.
Like,
What is with this industry?
great track record. I mean, good movies. This guy, but dirty pee-pee.
So his boss shows up with a tire blowout, and he impresses him with some talk about corporate trading and how to have made an even better deal, because he saw on the news that deal he was planning in his old life went through, but for way less than he thought he could get. So he gets called in for a job interview and wows Lassiter, his old boss, and gets the job, basically. He's going to get the offer. So he tells Kate about it and about what he wants for their future, what the success he will have for this, and what they can do together. And she gets really upset about the life they'd be throwing away.
they're going to live a fancy life in New York City where, like, they actually get their needs taken care of. It's like, no, I want to be working class and always struggle. Look at me.
It's true.
Fucking cunt. Seriously, stopping once again. Nick Cage earlier in the movie is like, you're destroying my hopes and dreams. And, like, she just literally tried to. What a fucking bitch.
Yeah, so
Seriously.
I mean, I think it's great that this movie is going through so much to prove that his real life was better.
Yeah, no, really. His real life was so much better because, like, not only was he actually getting ass, but also he was rich as shit.
Yeah, and he knew Italian songs.
Yeah. Where in the alternate reality, he's not fucking. He's got 2 annoying kids. His life sucks shit. Going nowhere.
And the only fucking foreign songs he knows is Ooga Chaka Ooga. Ooga.
But Cage kind of relents and says, like, no, this is a nice life. We'll live it and we'll be happy. And he begins to accept his new life. And he's truly happy. And his daughter one day while they're playing says, I knew you'd come back, Dad. And Cage feels so joyous. He's very much a family man. That was well timed.
Thank you.
So then while he's out buying salt for the sidewalk, he runs into Cheadle again.
Runs into Magic Black Man one more time.
Magic Black Man. And he becomes paranoid that he's going to go back to his old life, and he yells to Cheadle, like, you gotta leave me alone. You can't keep coming in people's lives and messing things up. That was perfect. Oh my god.
Dave's gonna get promoted.
So he wakes up the next day and is in his old life. And he finds that Kate, a successful unmarried lawyer, is moving to Paris. And her flight is going to leave at 7.
By the way, she's moving to Paris and she can't fucking speak French.
Nope. Not at all.
What a dumb bitch.
What a yabba dabba dumbass.
This
Like,
was
and
before
I-
they even had Duolingo, so
Yeah, they had Rosetta Stone, though.
yeah, but that costs like a lot of money.
Yeah, and I mean, she's a rich lawyer, but she can't afford Rosetta Stone.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
she fucking spends all her money on these freaking clothes.
She looks very good, though. Like that giant turtleneck probably costs like $10,000.
Oh yeah, probably. Real fucking.
We like could make money off of this or something like.
So her flight to Paris is leaving that day, Christmas Day, at 7 p.m. So he just books it to the airport to go and stop her. And he manages to go right up to the line. This is like 1 year pre 9/11. So you
Yeah,
could
so you can do
that.
whatever the
So
fuck
you,
you
yeah,
want.
you could do that. You didn't have to go through security or
You could have
anything.
fucking
Yeah.
climbed into the cockpit if you wanted to. Nobody would
Like the pilot, like on the way, was like, "Go get him, Tiger! Go get him!" And like you just saw it in like behind the scenes, just a brown man. His name, I believe, was Mohamed Atta, observing things in the background.
You see him just
He
stroking
just
his
got
chin
his
quizzically.
pilot training license.
he just had a nice vacation in San Diego where he was doing some training.
Yeah,
Um,
and so just know if you're ever in an airport and you see somebody full on sprinting, they are either coming from or on their way to committing an act of terror, or they are madly in love.
Yes,
Uh,
it's one of those two things. So
Yes.
He shows up and tries to convince her, and she's like, I have closure. I'm sorry. I don't know. We haven't seen each other in 13 years. If you want closure, it's good. I'm happy. And then he's like, I had this dream where, and then talks about everything that happened for the whole plot of the movie, basically. And he's like, and will you please just you can leave afterwards if you want to, but just have a cup of coffee. And she agrees to have the coffee with him, and they talk into the night, it appears. I don't know.
Yeah. So
And that's the end of the movie.
And I was
Um,
half expecting Cheadle to show up, like, laughing and, like, swoosh the movie away and be like, oh.
Yeah, like do like one of those like
with a wink.
yeah,
And-
like post credit sequence things like back in the early 2000s. Because I mean, this movie just like predated that shitty trend. So
Yeah. So yeah, it's basically it ends with a woman who's on to starting the next big chapter of her life, and just before she does so, a insane person that she hasn't seen in 13 years is screaming
Who-
at her from behind and saying,
yeah, but a future that they didn't fucking have.
yeah, I had a vision where we had a kid and he had really cool eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
She-
she's just
And you gotta
convinced
come with
by
me
it.
because I want to fuck you, and I want
Yes.
to create children, and you don't have a fucking choice. Basically.
Exactly.
And he
Yeah.
insinuated that.
And instead of thinking this
I don't
is
know many
weird
people
and-
in her position would probably who would agree to go have the coffee. I feel like I'd be like, I'm gonna get on this plane because it's away from you and safer.
Yeah, Nick Cage is a family man in this movie, but he's also acting like a fucking weirdo at that very end scene.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If someone I haven't seen in 13 years comes fucking pulling me out of the line at a airport, I'm probably going to hope I have pepper spray. I like-
Yeah, no, right. But yes, that is Family Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And what did y'all think of Family Man?
So
I cried so much. It was so touching when they did that shit dumb ending that I hated.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I actually genuinely did really like this movie. I thought there were like some kind of funny moments in it, even though it is pretty contrived and it's pretty derivative of things like It's a Wonderful Life.
For sure, yeah.
But at the same time, I really did like it, and then the ending just completely fucking ruined it for me. And I was actually watching this movie with a friend at that point, and I'm like, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. And then Nick Cage did the speech. I'm like, you fuckers, you did it. I can't believe you fucking did that contrived
Yeah.
bullshit again and again. Because what I would have liked, and I know Hollywood would have never done this, what I would have liked is if she would have been like, yeah, but that's in the past. And then they would have moved on. And it would have been like a like a lesson of cherish what you have because you never know if it might like pass you by.
Yeah.
But in this movie, there's no consequences for him basically abandoning this woman for 13 fucking years.
Exactly.
Yeah, basically, he gets both in the end.
Yeah,
yeah.
Presumably, they end up getting together and end up having a family, and also he got to become a millionaire.
Yeah,
Wall
basically,
Street
I
executive.
guess you
And
could
it's
say
like,
he has his Kate and eats it too.
Hey,
But that's the thing, though. I feel like the whole point of this movie should be that, like, you can take those lessons that you learned about valuing relationships and do it with somebody you didn't already fuck over
Right. Like
and waste their time otherwise.
he didn't. I mean, I don't know what he didn't learn anything.
Yeah, he didn't learn shit.
He got to a point where he's like, "Oh shit, I fucked up 13 years ago. What if I took my greasy dick and I fucking made it all better?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "Wow, that's romantic as shit."
Yeah, so the ending of this movie, I fucking reeked. I hated it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the actual movie itself, I really did like until like literally the last scene of the movie.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. I mean,
not
as
a
far
bad
as
movie.
And there were genuinely some funny ass moments, especially when Nick Cage is like trying to like go through the motions of his old life and he has no idea what the fuck's going on. Like some of those scenes were genuinely pretty funny.
yeah, and I mean, as far as Christmas movies go, there wasn't any like Joe Pesci or Bank Robbery with John.
And I was
Lovitz,
gonna say,
but,
in comparison to the other Nick Cage Christmas movie, this movie's a million times better than those.
yeah, I would say, and if this
I don't
movie's a
know.
million times better, because that movie is already like 10 out of 10, and so this would be like,
I think we do at some point need to have the Cage Christmas episode where we
Yeah.
put it Trapped in Paradise, Family Man, and also A Christmas Carol. the
I
one
am
that he
never
says.
watching.
I mean, that's the thing is
Christmas Carol again.
We're doing different brackets, different like themed brackets.
Mhm.
We're gonna do that as episodes at some point.
That's
But,
true.
So I don't know. This movie, the plot of this movie, I feel like this is kind of a cliche of like late 90s, early 2000s comedy movies where it's like, what if we put this guy in a situation that is very wholesome, but very antithetical to his personality?
What
and
the
then,
heck?
And then he learns to be a good person, you know?
Real fish out of water story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely
Um,
like reminiscent of what the fuck was that Adam Sandler movie where he takes care of that kid?
Big Daddy.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Big
Big
Daddy.
Daddy a little bit.
It's basically Big Daddy meets 8 Crazy Nights, but no Sandman.
It's a sweet, feel-good movie. I did think it was a pretty good movie. It does seem to me at times to be like the type of propaganda that maybe executives like to have out in the world to make the lower classes put up with their lot in life and enjoy it rather than start building guillotines.
Well, there's even that scene where they're eating at the restaurant. It's like, yeah, your paycheck is pitifully low, but it's like, we love each other. We live a good life. And it's like, I mean, you guys kind of do, but that whole life is extremely precarious. Like the early 2000s.
What if we killed the executives? And, like,
That's the thing. The early 2000s was the last time you could be a pro bono lawyer and work as a fucking salesperson at a fucking tire factory and still own a house in the suburbs.
Mhm.
That was the last time you could do that in America. Was the early 2000s.
Yeah, and so
Pretty soon, they probably got it with a subprime.
Yeah, well, to be fair, this
mortgage.
movie was set in Teaneck, New Jersey, which is just outside of New York City, and I guarantee you that that house now is probably worth like $1.2 million.
Oh yeah.
And pro bono lawyers and tire salesmen don't make $1.2 million enough to fucking afford a house like
yeah,
that.
I mean,
So
unless
it's
you got
true.
really good tires.
Yeah.
Like if you got fucking, the
Some chrome plated grill tires
and
for
they got
rappers.
grips on it and shit, dude.
Mhm.
Fucking spinners.
So yeah, this movie is definitely not an original premise, but I will say I did enjoy it. And I think, I don't think there's ever been a movie we've seen on the show that like it would have been better without Nick Cage, but I think Nick Cage's performance did add a shit ton to this movie.
For
Mhm.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's true. Cage is always like a rock. For instance, he's in the film The Rock, but
And Red Rock.
he does
Yes.
kind of make everything he's in a little bit better. Like if it weren't for him being in a lot of these movies, they'd have no watch value whatsoever.
I would have not
And-
made it through this entire movie if he was not the charming fellow.
If he
in the
wasn't
lead.
the family man.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought this movie was kind of a reversal of the classic "It's a Wonderful Life," which I think is really interesting, because the "It's a Wonderful Life" is a similar story, but reversed, which is very, very
Very interesting.
interesting.
Yeah. I wonder where you got that observation from.
Yeah, and when you think about it, it really is a wonderful life.
But that's all I have to say about this movie so far. Dave, do you have a plot summary by any chance?
No. What?
Okay.
No. What?
Yes.
That's a great
remix.
fun fact, that was literally the most succinct and perfect encapsulation of a review I've ever seen from Dave. That was incredible.
Yes,
That's the greatest hits of Dave right there.
Yeah.
Then I guess the next thing would be the Amazon reviews.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot about. I should probably go look for some
Let's
right now.
yabba
'cause I
dabba do
didn't,
these yabba dabba reviews.
Didn't look at them beforehand.
Or yabba dab reviews. There we
Oh, actually, a lot of people saying, "Yeah, it's a Wonderful Life." Well, it's Nicolas Cage. Why not? Okay, here we go. I got a movie. I got a review about a movie. Called The Family Man.
Oh, yeah.
By the gentleman named Brylock. He
Brylock.
says,
Wait.
Frylock sounds like it's either like Frylock.
Yeah, I was gonna say Frylock from
or
Aquatine.
it's
or
Frylock,
like
but
some
it's-
sort of demon from a fantasy
"That's
movie.
true." I was gonna say Frylock mixed with Brian from Family Man. Brylock writes, "This movie is pretty intense. A good thriller. Love a good thriller." Says it will make you laugh,
a thriller.
and if you're like me, it'll make you cry too. Must watch at least once. Has time travel things going on in it. Many lessons to be learned in this bundle of joy.
There really isn't time travel though.
It's time travel, honey.
It's an alternate universe that's not necessarily
There's
time
no
travel.
time- there's
There's
no
time travel in
this
every movie because
Well-
it just travels in real time.
Yeah, it's more of a time lapse movie.
Okay, yeah.
I got a review from.
One thing I do want to say, separate thing that I forgot to mention. This is one of the only like Christmas movies I've seen that starts on Christmas and ends at a later date and doesn't like start earlier and end on Christmas. You know what I mean? So
That's
start
That is a
around.
strange observation though, but yeah, that is
Yeah.
odd.
Yeah, and I will say it's Christmas Eve and not Christmas Steve. Leonard L. writes, one of the best movies ever made. Truly, from a philosophical perspective.
I feel like somebody named by the name of Rhett Bratner wrote this review.
Well, I mean, Brett Ratner, a philosophical mastermind, as we all
This
know.
is very true. I've seen X-Men: The Last Stand many times, and I can
yeah.
philosophize a lot about that movie.
Yeah, and I mean, the Phoenix is basically frickin' Sigmund Freud.
Yeah.
From a that's a psychological perspective.
Yeah, it's a
I see.
psychoanalysis perspective.
Yeah.
The Dark Phoenix is my mom that
Psychosocial.
I have some very complicated feelings about.
And Leonard Cohen writes, truly from a philosophical perspective, one of the best movies ever made.
Goddamn.
Could
Wait.
not
Did you say-
recommend more highly.
Did you say from Leonard Cohen?
Yeah. I'm assuming Leonard L. Cohen.
I would like to think that the artist Leonard Cohen wrote that review.
I mean, it was written. He was still alive at the time of the review, so
it was that Leonard Cohen.
Yeah, it was that Leonard
It was
Cohen.
that Leonard Cohen.
He wrote, yeah.
got a.
He wrote Hallelujah, then he sat down and he wrote this review.
And actually, Hallelujah was about how happy he was that this movie was made.
Yeah,
I think
in the
it
Christmas
was
spirit.
it was his adulation at seeing Taya Leone dance behind that
Yeah,
shower.
yeah. Because there's that one verse that goes like, "Time travel was number one. I was having multiple sons." So KB writes, and again, this is about the movie The Family Man. Love this show. Awesome acting, and the little girl in it, my favorite character. And there was like 2 ellipses in there. So the little girl in it, my favorite character.
You gotta do the
Not
DreamWorks
creepy.
smirk too when you do it.
Yeah, and I'm doing my Brett Ratner smirk for everybody who can't see my Dan Schneider mask thing. Got a review from somebody who obviously picked their username after watching this movie because their name is Life is Good. And they say, love this classic movie, story of my life. I got the good part.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, shit.
So they also
our
went
rich
through
capitalist.
time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so, I don't know.
Got a review from Cat One Lady, who says F word is not necessary in this movie. Disappointed. Was expecting a wholesome family movie. Did not like him using the F word, which was totally unnecessary. I enjoyed the similar movie named What If much more.
This movie is
when did he-
PG-13.
When did he even say it? I don't remember that.
If he said it, it would have been one time.
It would have been literally one time in a
And-
non-sexual context.
in a non-sexual context, and if you want a movie where they say it one less time, watch What If.
What if fuck? That's what.
What,
the
what
title.
if?
That's the
What
original
if
title.
we?
Well,
What if
it's
we
what fuck.
kissed?
Yeah, what if we fuck? It's a porn parody version.
Got a
We fuck
review
now.
from a Christian. And
Wait. You said a Christian.
A Christian,
Is it like a like Andrew Christian or is it just a Christian?
a Christian, one word.
Okay.
Okay.
And they say, "Sorry, I purchased. Don't waste your money."
Okay.
So not enough.
This movie doesn't have enough Jesus in its
yeah.
Christmas, I guess. They took the Christ out of Christmas and
They took the Christ out of Christmas, and yeah.
put a big X there.
Next one is written by somebody who I think makes an appearance in the next movie. This one's by Allah, and they say, "Bad quality product was freezing returned."
Was
Wait.
freezing?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, I understand. I thought it was like it was bad. It was cold.
This is really cold.
Wait, what?
No, I think they got a DVD that just froze.
Got a review from Deborah Carter, who says, "Make decent movies so anyone can watch. It was fair. Why cannot movies be decent for everyone?"
Okay.
I just got a couple more here. JM Cookie writes, "Nightmare Christmas." This
No,
movie,
that's the one with Jack Skellington.
Yeah, I was gonna say they mean Nightmare Before Christmas.
well, I think this one is a little bit scarier from their perspective.
Okay.
They wrote, "This movie, I think, is supposed to make us reflect on the importance of a family as opposed to being a rich tycoon. Sort of like It's a Wonderful Life. In my opinion, this movie doesn't work. This movie is about a rich, successful CEO that tees off a demon or something that punishes him by switching his life to the family that he missed by becoming a rich tycoon. Jack goes to bed a happy rich tycoon and wakes up poor, married, with a nagging wife, obnoxious kids, and brain-dead friends. The points just don't connect in this movie for me. I think that one has to have a very imaginative focus to enjoy this, or just to be bliss to not catch these irregularities.
Uh-huh.
I would not recommend this movie to anyone, especially kids. Watch the original, It's a Wonderful Life, much, much better. In my opinion, which I'm sure nobody cares, that's correct, I would associate this movie with movies about witchcraft, like Harry Potter. Not that the story
What?
is totally different, but in the same category.
Are you sure this one wasn't written by a Christian?
Might be their neighbor. Okay. This is okay. And so they say that this movie supports socialist theories in the subtle suggestion that being rich and successful is evil. In addition, the movie suggests that God's angels work through evil behavior. I can't say that God does not work through evil to turn an individual back to what's right, but I can say nowhere in the Bible do angels commit criminal acts. I think because I disagree so strongly is why I dislike this movie. So basically,
I'm sorry.
well-
Anyone who thinks this movie is socialist, you're a dipshit.
Yeah.
well, I mean, what's so bad about being a rich tycoon? They really make it seem like it's evil, and they also make it seem like angels can be black.
Yeah.
Which neither.
And
of those
also, I
things
mean,
is
this
true.
movie has a black man who steals all of his money and influence, and they treat him like the bad guy. Very socialist thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, basically this movie, Hollywood propaganda made by commies. And I got one last review from Josh who says, don't let your wife make you sit through this movie.
Okay, because it's a total chick flick,
Just,
right?
Yeah.
here's the thing: we need to get married, and you
Okay.
need to make me watch this movie so we can make this review true.
Don't let it happen.
All
I
right.
won't. You're not making me do that. Okay.
Hey, you know,
Okay,
sometimes you're gonna clock out of your fucking hard-paying job over at the foundry, and you're gonna come home, and your old fucking nagging B-word W.
That's me.
Fucking haggard cunt of a
It's
wife.
like, let's watch this family movie, and
It's
all
like,
you
Taylor,
want to
let's
do.
watch this movie together. I'm like, Jess, I just want to go to bed. Okay?
Honey, I worked 14 hours today. I just want to crack 1,400 beers and watch fucking
I want
Wind
Spike
Talkers.
TV back in 2008.
I want to watch Spike TV Video Game Awards because Carmen Electra's presenting Best Bust in a Tomb Raider game.
And see, this is exactly why you should sit down and watch this movie. Mhm.
Yeah.
You'll learn about family values.
and once again, this is my fucking nagging bitch wife telling me what to fucking do after I come home from 17 and a half hours at the fucking dick sucking factory, making a hard living for us so we can live a fucking good life here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good life, good wife with bad movie taste. Anyway, don't let the broads get you down. Have a fucking good time. Watch something else.
Okay. Is that all for the reviews?
Yep, that's all
Okay.
I got.
Yabba dabba doo. All right. Well, I think we've yabba dabba done it for Family Man. And are you trying to correct me? 'Cause it's yabba dabba done. No. But we'll be taking a short break, and then we'll get back to you about the one you've all been waiting for, that I know Mike has been eagerly awaiting since episode 1.
I got the brats on the Barbie, baby.
We were talking about World Trade Center.
World Trade Center.
Oh, yeah.
And so stay tuned for that. Bye-bye.
Yeah, go watch this movie, you fucking socialist pigs.
Fuck you.
It was really funny when the guy was like on his way to work on the morning of 9/11. You know, he's listening to that song that's about like the sun rising over New York City, and he says to himself, "You know what? I don't like this song very much, but it's okay because on the drive home, I'll be listening to my brand new copy of Silver Side Up."
Well, I was saying though, there was a guy who was going to his first day working as a lead animator at Cartoon Network, and he wasn't able to get to work because the towers were collapsing, and he went back home and created the greatest rock band of all time, My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, he was actually on his way to create frickin' Harvey Birdman. But then he created Danger Days.
That's the thing, I don't know if you know, Jess, he actually did have a pilot for Cartoon Network at one point.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
no.
but he was scared of pilots after 9/11. So
I'll only do a show without a pilot.
Well, when he was coming back in the train back home, he was like, "I'm not okay."
and in parentheses, I promise.
Well, actually, like as he was getting on the train, he didn't think he was going to get back home. He was like, "I'm never coming home, never coming home."
But I know that I can't fly a plane. But where's my razor blade?
I hope you're recording.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ!
All right.
That was 9/11, folks.
Wait, does that mean we're recording?
I think so. Oh. Well, welcome back. We are here now to talk to you about World Trade Center. We covered Family Man already, yes.
To be
thank
fair,
you,
Nick
Dick.
Cage is a family man in this movie.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
is
he's-
quite a family man. He's got a bigger family in this one than he did in Family Man.
Yeah. His family is actually all of New York City because he's one of our boys in blue.
Mm-hmm. The NYPD is like Olive Garden. When you're there, you're family.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know. So this movie came out in 2006. It's rated PG-13.
Wait. You're gonna make a fucking 9/11 movie and make it PG-13?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
They're trying to get all the kids in there too, you know? Kids gotta revere.
Yeah, but they don't want the kids to see without
Yeah.
their parents because they need their parents to tell them how to feel about it.
Which is true. Like, I feel like children should be made to watch, like, the modern day sacrifice to Moloch, which is neocon politics.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, my mom took me to the theater to see The Passion of the Christ, which I think was rated R.
Yeah.
it is definitely
I
rated
did
R.
go with a bunch of my family to see the fucking Passion of the Christ.
At one point, it was
too.
literally the highest grossing rated R movie of all time until the Joker came out, basically.
Oh shit! So it was directed by Oliver Stone, who we also saw just earlier in a
On
contentious
Snowden.
episode with Snowden.
Yeah.
Written by Andrea Burloff.
Good
Who-
old Andrea Burloff, who also wrote Straight Outta Compton.
I was just gonna say that.
Wait,
I'm
Yes,
that's a
sir.
funny correlation with 9/11.
like-
Yeah.
Where was Ice Cube and Dr. Dre? I don't know. Where was DJ Young?
Well, Dr. Dre was assaulting his wife, and I think Ice Cube fucked around and got a triple double.
yeah,
I believe
it was a good day.
What was it? Was MC Ren? I think he was directing porn at this point, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. He was. Well, it was medieval.
I did not know he became a porn director.
I know one of the NWA guys literally did become a porn director.
No, yeah, it was medieval porn called MC Ren Fair.
Yes.
So,
Yep, MC Ren.
So this one didn't have a production company, but it was produced by Moritz Boardman, Deborah Hill, Michael Schamberg.
Yes,
What a
in fact,
sham.
this was the last film Deborah Hill produced before she died.
Oh,
And Deborah Hill was,
Um,
I'm sure as you know, she was one of the main producers on the Halloween franchise.
I did not know that at
Yeah,
all.
she was like literally like John Carpenter's best friend as like his main producer for like the majority of his good films.
Oh wow.
And where John Carpenter stands on this podcast.
So if you ever like see a Halloween retrospective, Deborah Hill is always fucking there along with like fucking Mustafa Khan and stuff like that.
yeah, Mustafa.
What about Mohamed Atta?
Mohamed Atta is not involved in the Halloween franchise, but he's involved in something else extremely spooky, which we should get into right now, Jess.
Okay. It has a runtime of 129 minutes. Had a budget of $65 million. About what Family Man did.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, never mind. I'll get to that point in a little bit, but there's a lot of similarities between Family Man and this
yeah.
movie. Similarities.
Anybody want to take a stab at the box office gross?
Well, I'm gonna take a stab
What?
real quick with my box cutter, and I'm gonna say this movie made $911 million.
Damn.
Well, let's see. In 2006, a movie ticket cost $6.50, and there's about 300 million patriots in this country. So if you do the math, $400.
Well, it's $163 million. So that's another one in the black. And
People were ready to rip this wound wide open.
that is
Yeah, seriously.
17 out of
Yeah, this
44
movie came out like
movies.
5 years after 9/11. Like this shit was still
That's-
burning a lot of people's
yeah,
memories.
that's honestly very shocking to me.
Yeah, it is. Like I feel like this movie like would have probably been controversial as came out like in 2016, let alone 2006.
Right, yeah.
On Rotten Tomatoes, this got a 67% from the critics, 60% from audiences.
It's almost 69 on the critics.
They weren't nearly as positive about this movie as they were Family Man.
Yeah.
Family Man.
But yeah, that's all I have for the overview. You got some trivia for us?
Yeah, I got some trivia for the for you 911 heads out there.
Well, it's Nicolas Cage. Why not?
Mhm.
And that's my first one. So this was the first theatrical film to recreate the collapse of the World Trade Center towers.
Jesus.
So
Wait, this is really the first one.
yeah. Besides like some of the like Microsoft movie makers made
wait.
as a
I gotta ask, this is off topic. What's the movie with Robert Pattinson where at the ending there's like a twist that he's in the World
think it's
Trade
called
Center?
Remember Me. if I'm
yeah,
not
it's called
mistaken.
Remember Me.
Mm.
And hashtag Patton stands. He's actually the background on my phone.
Nice.
And that's not a joke. I love him with all my heart.
Well, and that's the thing you said. This is the first movie that detailed, like, or at least I should say, like, had on screen the destruction of the World Trade Center. Correct.
yes.
So did you know that the last thing that ever showed 9/11 before it got destroyed was the Limp Bizkit music video for Rollin'?
Is that true?
Yes, and in fact,
Wait,
on
what
Sep-
about that Ryan Adams video?
and in fact, Jess, because I know you're wrong, so I'm trying to correct you here. The last artistic showing of the Twin Towers was Rollin', the Limp Bizkit music video. And in fact, Limp Bizkit won the VMA for Best Music Video for that music video on September 10th,
Oh
Whoa.
shit!
the day before. And they got a letter from the World Trade Center thanking them for showing them in their music video on September 10th.
What
Well,
the
I
fuck?
thought that
Yeah.
the Ryan Adams song "New York" because they filmed that before the
You know,
towers,
just so, stop being wrong.
and it came out after.
No,
Yeah.
But,
just stop being wrong.
Okay.
Jess just wants me to point out that Ryan Adams is a serial abuser.
Yes.
So
And
It's
Jess
true,
wants me
it's
to
all
point
things
out
cemetery.
that Fred Durst was not responsible for 9/11.
well, he might have. You know, actually, if
I-
Fred Durst was on the plane,
do we know that for
things
sure?
would have went a lot differently.
He's like, this time I'm gonna let my jihad out. So it actually was him. He was one of the hijackers, but he escaped.
Some more trivia for you guys. The city of New York absolutely prohibited the recreation of 9/11 of the destruction or chaos on location. So the filmmakers were not even allowed to film the actors looking up in the direction of where the towers were.
What the
Damn.
fuck are you serious?
Like, yeah, that's how serious it was.
That is some like
That's kind of overkill.
The
that is
I mean,
some
'cause
like
what if
some
you-
cursed like
yeah,
fucking
basically the only
philosophy
thing
here.
that
Jesus
was
Christ.
permitted to be filmed was when the officers were driving up to the site. Everything else that depicts the events around the World Trade Center were filmed in Los Angeles.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Is that New York City wouldn't allow the filmmakers to recreate 9/11 in New York, but we were allowed to recreate 9/11 times 1,000 in Iraq and Afghanistan.
oh
True,
yeah,
yeah.
basically it's all about where you do it. You know?
exactly.
So
And as long as you're not American, it's totally fine.
yeah, you can fly a plane as low as you want, wherever you want, as long as it's not anywhere near New York.
That's the thing. You can fly a plane as low as you want as long as you drop drone piloted bombs over a wedding or a school bus
Oh, yeah.
or a hospital
Yeah,
in rural
um,
Balochistan or something like that.
Wait, what if they only said like, no, you can't recreate it because the filmmaker's original plan was to fly a plane into another tower?
You can't recreate it because we're working on it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you know, you can't
Like,
recreate
you can't
it 'cause-
recreate it for another couple of years. That one Freedom Center or whatever the fuck.
And
it
that's the thing,
is
you
is-
can't recreate an idea that the president thought of originally. I mean, come on.
You
He,
can't just steal his vibe like that.
Yeah, don't steal George Bush's and Dick Cheney's vibe like that.
It's actually George W. Bush credited as one of the producers on this movie.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Uh,
And a producer of the actual event as well. Right?
Yeah, I think that's actually what they meant. So, director Oliver Stone's first two choices to play Nicolas Cage's character were Mel Gibson, who said no because he was going to direct Apocalypto instead, and he hates Jews.
Yeah, fair enough.
And George Clooney, who I think would have been actually kind of interesting, but definitely not Nicolas Cage.
No, I think George Clooney would have been a pretty rough choice for this.
Yeah,
I just don't see it.
Too pretty to be buried under all that rubble.
And he also just doesn't look like a dumb New York City cop with a bushy mustache.
That's true. So apparently, 240 tons of material was used to recreate a fully three-dimensional Ground Zero in Los Angeles. And so I just went ahead and I converted that 240 tons of material into potato flakes. So it would be a fuckload of potatoes. That's a lot of potatoes.
That is quite a lot of potatoes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you know, originally, when the towers fell and there was that dust, people thought it was asbestos, but it was actually potato flakes.
Yeah. And so like a lot of people were like, should we not be breathing this? But then by the end they were like, this is actually, it tastes pretty good.
Yeah, it tastes pretty good. And it kind of like dissolves on my tongue.
Yeah.
It's with artificial butter too.
Yeah. And actually it started raining later and like potatoes were fluffing up in the streets.
It was a,
You
was
just
a
had to add
wonderful
water
time.
and then just mash it around and make mashed potatoes.
It was a gay old time.
And speaking of the dust on
Yabba-dabba-doo.
set was non-toxic, but it was still thick enough that everybody was wearing filter masks, which kind of reminds me of the shamdemic we're living in right now.
And that just kind of sounds like like it's not toxic, but just don't breathe it in. Like, wait, what
don't
the fuck?
breathe this, remember, from YouTube.
Yeah, they really wanted to make this accurate and give everyone like lung cancer.
You want to give everyone mesothelioma?
But the director Oliver Stone did become sick due to dust inhalation on this production. So
Oh,
Damn.
okay.
he's going to get cancer. And the final piece that I have is that this is the highest grossing feature film of the 2000s about the events of September 11th at over $162 million worldwide. Its opening weekend gross of $18.7 million was the best of Oliver Stone's career.
Wow.
And so I
It's
just
kind of sad with how prolific of a director he is.
yeah, I mean he's done so many huge movies.
Yeah.
It just makes you wonder if there's a soundbite out there of him saying 9/11 is the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he's
and-
a liberal, so he probably would say something like that.
right, exactly. And so before we get too into it, I just want to we were going to take a moment of silence, but we're actually just going to put it in post so we can keep talking.
Yeah.
But where were you guys when you heard about 911?
I was in either second or third grade. I think I was in third grade. And I remember I was in like gym class in the morning, and my teacher was like, "Hey guys, just to let you know, the plane hit the Twin Towers." And I was like, "Oh, cool. When are we gonna eat lunch?"
Exactly.
And that's where I was on 9/11.
Makes me hungry to think about.
And I remember I was like, I really want a big rack of ribs that will like tip over my mom's car.
Hell yes. Yeah, I was in the second grade. I do remember that, and I remember like in class suddenly we were all going to church because it was a Serbian Orthodox school.
Any excuse to go to church, I guess.
Yeah, and they were like, "Why?" We were like, "Why are we suddenly going to church on a?" It was like a Tuesday. wasn't it?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Go Tuesday. Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, because something bad happened." And then one of my classmates was like, "Oh yeah, I think my mom said something like that plane hit that tower." And then she's just like, "Yep." And then we got sent home, and I fucked around and played all day because I got the day off. Hell yeah!
Yeah, I think.
Thank you, Mohamed Atta, for
I
giving me
did not
the
get the day off. I had to go to school all day. So
For me, I was in my office early that morning, kind of doing some business calls, and my son starts pulling on my pants leg, and he's saying, "Daddy, Daddy, they're jumping out the windows." And I said, "Who, sweetie? Who's jumping out the what windows?" And he said, "The big building, Daddy. They're jumping out the." They're jumping out the windows, and I'm like, "Well, what the fuck?" He's a kid. He's like 4 at the time, so I'm thinking he's just, he saw a movie and he's just making stuff up. And then I turn on the TV, and of course, see Howard Stern doing an interview, and
Nobody asked, but I was in 8th grade.
you old
9/11
fuck.
happened. What now?
No, keep going.
And, yeah, shit happened. Pretty much the whole day was just watching TV footage of it. And as soon as it first happened, the gym teacher at the junior high that I went to came busting out and was like, "The goddamn Chinese got us!" And I'll never forget that.
Wait. Are you serious that they literally said that?
Literally. That is actually what happened.
Imagine blaming the Chinese. What the fuck?
Oh,
I
it was
mean,
so
who else
good.
would you blame at this point?
Yeah, I lived in Missouri at the time.
Oh, that
and
explains it.
Everybody was like, "They're gonna crash a plane into the arch next," and it was like, dude, if they crash the plane into the arch, dude, they earned that hit, dude.
Yeah, I'm just saying they would actually fly through
Who
it.
are they
mostly.
coming for next?
Right? It's just like, wow, what a cool stunt by these terrorists. Where are they headed now?
It's like something from Star Fox 64. They gotta go through the
Do a
fucking...
barrel roll.
They started installing a bunch of giant mirrors around the St. Louis Arch, so any oncoming planes would just see their own reflection and be disoriented.
Yeah, and they crash into the glass like that scene from all the movies, but it's filled with a plane instead.
Yeah. So
I should mention, I do remember
Skills have
actually.
improved, Fox.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I gave the wrong memory on that day. Actually, I was also working in my office, and then all of a sudden this fucking plane comes barging in. I'm like, what the fuck?
You're not supposed. This is a no-fly zone. First of all.
Yeah, like you can't park your plane here.
I was actually on the top of the observation tower taking pictures of my family with my man,
Yeah.
and I saw a plane coming. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? There shouldn't be planes in New York City. And then I don't remember what happened after that.
Oh yeah. And then like Don Cheadle came and was like, "I'll give you a glimpse of what you've done if you spent time with your family today instead of working."
So yeah, I'm glad we could all share this moment, and we'll insert that moment of silence in, so we don't have to do that IRL because that's fucking.
So that's the
sounds
thing.
Gay as
Yeah,
hell.
that's
I don't know if you know,
stupid.
but of course, as we all know, the Nickelback's breakthrough album in America, Silver Side Up, came up on 9/11, and they actually predicted the title for that by the fact that even though jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams, it also doesn't melt silver. So there's a silver side up, silver lining to that.
I mean, talk about a silver lining to 911 is having a good CD to cry to that day.
And frankly, if it was for 9/11, we wouldn't have this illustrious film.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have My Chemical Romance.
It's true.
So.
Yeah, we wouldn't have heightened security.
Yeah, we wouldn't have the
that
mass
keeps us all
surveillance
safer.
state.
Yeah,
If it wasn't for this,
and we wouldn't have Snowden even.
That's true.
Edward
If it
Snowden
wasn't
would have
for-
just banged his stripper girlfriend working his boring NSA job,
Yeah.
where nothing ever happened, and he would have been totally fine with it because
Would he
mass
even
surveillance
have worked
probably
for the
wouldn't have happened.
NSA?
I think the worst result of 9/11, including the casualties, is just the fact that you can no longer just run up to somebody's gate and say, "I haven't seen you in 13 years. Let's fuck."
Yes, absolutely.
So it's a lot harder to rekindle lost love now because of these fucking terrorisms. So
It's a real shame. It's a real travesty.
Is that all you got for trivia then?
yeah. Oh,
And
well, there's one more piece of trivia,
reminiscences.
and it's that I have an uncle. His name is Al Qaeda. So
Hmm.
Weird Al Qaeda. Well, okay.
We need to make Weird Al Qaeda a thing, by the way.
yeah,
featuring Rude Boy Giuliani.
Yeah, featuring Rude Boy
Yeah,
Pussy
Weird
Giuliani.
Al-Qaeda.
We got Weird Al Qaeda.
and Rude Boy Giuliani. All right. Do now.
I mean, to be fair, talking about Rude Boy Giuliani, I mean, he was partially responsible for like 9/11, if you think about it, because he was the mayor.
No, that's
He
true.
coordinated the attack with George W. Bush and Dick
Had to
Cheney,
have. It's the only way
allegedly
they
in
could've.
Minecraft.
And speaking of Weird Al Qaeda, he actually, out of respect, didn't wear Hawaiian shirts for 3 months after 9/11. So
That's pretty impressive.
yeah, he had to get a whole new wardrobe.
So moving on to a plot summary here. Cage has a wife and 4 kids, and he's a cop, a sergeant in New York City.
And nobody can see what we're also looting.
I also love that scene where he's checking on his children before he goes to work, and I want I think he's thinking like, you know what? I didn't beat you last night. I didn't beat you last night.
You know,
Damn, I'm not living up to the 40%.
he doesn't. He didn't even normally. They don't talk about this in the movie, but the actual person didn't even normally watch his kids sleep in the morning. But he just felt something was off that day.
Yeah.
He realized that the the black eyes weren't nearly prominent enough, so he feel like he just didn't do a good enough job.
I did take note here because I thought it would be relevant given that it was John Goodman who was a train car ticket checker, but no, that was just a brief.
Just a random John Goodman cameo.
Yeah, John Goodman's just in this movie for about 2 seconds.
It cost him $1 million to do that, but you know what? He was in it for 2 seconds.
Well, I mean, he's a big fan of 9/11, so they just wanted to pay homage to him.
Yeah,
At least,
absolutely.
I guess I didn't look very closely. I didn't see if it was him, but it was definitely his voice. Unless someone dead ass has the same voice as John Goodman. So Michael Pena is a rookie on the police department, also working there in NYC, and it is September 11th, 2001. We also see like Shane from The Walking Dead. He's on a ferry. He's also
Yes.
a cop.
This is his film debut.
And you also see, I think it's Paxton from Hostel, the one survivor who plays a cop in this movie as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So very, very famous character actor Jay Hernandez.
Jay
from
Hernandez.
Hostel.
I don't remember most of Hostel.
You fucking cunt. I do not remember Hostel. It's the best movie ever. I mean, talk
I
about
just
Eli
remember
Roth.
I've suppressed
torture.
a lot of, yeah. Speaking of Eli Roth, whose movies have caused a lot of suppressed memories for me.
And to be fair, speaking of torture porn, let's talk about a movie about 9/11.
Hey.
So they're out doing normal cop shit. Pena, for instance, is kicking homeless men out of where they sleep.
Yeah, and Nick Cage is like gonna harass somebody, if I'm not mistaken.
Like shoot a dog in the head.
Yeah. He's being a real dick. By the way, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. What a fucking lame ass cop title.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you mean badass? Freaking Port Authority.
You Port Authority.
I'm authority over here.
Yeah. Hey, I'm a Port Authority cop over here.
Hey,
What about a
I'm freaking-
starboard authority?
And as they're harassing homeless people and
yeah.
trying to give directions to like Chinese tourists, they see the plane.
Suddenly,
The plane!
A plane crashes into Tower 1. Emergency vehicles begin scrambling.
And unfortunately, that is the
tower.
last on-screen appearance in this movie of Mohamed Atta.
Mhm.
By the way, rest in peace. Peace be upon him.
May peace be upon him.
He's actually still alive.
Did a great thing that day. But cops commandeer a bus and like start heading over there to the towers. On the bus, they're hearing reports that Tower 2 is hit, but like a bunch of them don't believe it. They're like, "Nah, it's just the smoke."
That's
from
the smoke
Tower
from
1.
Tower 1 over there.
I mean, to be fair, that is cops to not listen to knowledge and just go barrel first into something about ready to shoot somebody. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's kind of what cops normally do.
They're basically like, who could do 2 oopsies in a row if it wasn't us?
It's almost like cops are kind of reactionary figures, if you know.
Uh-huh.
They just sort of
Almost.
react to
They
everything.
react to things.
React to everything.
So the cops are kind of standing around staring, not knowing what to do, all these Port Authority cops. Papers are flying everywhere. People are jumping out of the buildings.
Oh, and I did miss totally one thing here. In the there's like a shadow of the plane about to hit the tower. The last thing before it cuts to them getting on the bus is a Zoolander poster.
Yes.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And I was like, I cried laughing because I just imagine like the guys are not like, yo, I can't wait to see Zoolander. It's a funny. Wait, what's that?
What movies would be being advertised at the time?
Yeah, he's like, you know what? I can't wait to see Fred Durst in this movie.
It would have been really funny if there was just like a giant TV playing the original trailer for Spider-Man with the towers in it before they had
Well,
to edit it.
But Cage looks for volunteers to evacuate the tower, and no cops really step forward until like Pena does, and also
Yeah, it's
some
weird that all
other
these
dudes.
cops are kind of cowards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so abnormal.
And like I said, I think Jay Hernandez comes up and fucking Shane
Yeah.
from The Walking Dead. And
Yeah.
So-
Oh, Shane from The Walking Dead shows up later, but then also disappears again. So
Oh,
I
right,
don't know
right,
what the
that's right.
fuck goes on.
I think
with him.
I think he gets owned in a separate 9/11 incident.
Yeah, he had to leave 9/11 to film Netflix's Punisher.
Yeah, I think he actually left to go fuck Rick Grimes' wife.
I gotta cut my freaking partner. It's funny because he's a cop in The Walking Dead and a cop in this.
Yeah.
and he has extreme fucking your wife energy.
He
So
really does.
People are still skeptical that Tower 2 was hit while they're like going and they're running around getting supplies like breathing masks and stuff to start evacuating people from the tower.
what are the chances?
And then like Shane is bleeding from the face and he walks up and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to join you," and run in there. And then we don't really see him again at all for the rest of the movie, I think, after that.
I think he gets owned by the towers collapsing. If I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
okay. That must have
Yeah.
been what happened.
Yeah, the rubble is falling in. He's like, I'm walking over here.
I'm walking over here.
Gates.
The Tower 1 is collapsing, and Cage and the team who are in like Building 5 or somewhere, I don't fucking know.
I think they're literally under Building 2, if I'm not mistaken.
but they're caught in the building as suddenly the rubble is crushing the ceiling down, and they're stuck.
And by the way, I love that he's
apparently.
like, they do a slow motion. It's like, run, go to the elevator shaft.
Yeah, hearing Nicolas Cage in slow motion really reminds you that this is not an actual person, but Nicolas Cage. So.
And to be fair, I mean, talk about Nicolas Cage in this movie. His mustache is fucking banging in this movie. It's a bomb ass cop mustache.
His mustache is actually ironically played by Steve Buscemi, who was a volunteer firefighter in 9/11.
That's true.
So they're stuck and unable to move. And Hernandez?
Yeah, Jay Hernandez. Yeah.
Jay Hernandez, yeah. He's
I believe his last name is, once again, stereotypical cop. His last name is Pizzulo or some shit like that.
I thought it was Rodriguez.
It's Pizzulo.
Oh, okay. But
not so sorry.
So he's free. He's trying to free Cage and Pena, who are completely trapped under rubble. Like Pena's legs are stuck. Cage is all sorts of stuck.
Yeah, he's like just like his head is able to move like 2 micrometers. And
yeah.
he's fucking squished.
Yeah, and Michael Pena is like on fire at one point.
Oh yeah.
Well, not on fire, but getting a lot of.
Yeah, it's like fucking like pieces of like flame, flame covered like fucking metal or scrap coming at his head and shit.
Yeah, and then they're like, "My wife always hated fire."
But yeah, Jay Hernandez is unable to free them, and then more rubble collapses and it crushes him, and he's like, "I'm dying." And he for some reason pulls out his gun and shoots into the air. I think it's supposed to be a signal.
No, it's supposed to be a warning shot. That's what it said in the Wikipedia article I read about. Because most of the things that happened in this movie were like pretty dead on to what happened in real life.
Yeah,
and Dominic Pizzulo literally he shot 1 bullet in the air as a warning signal, and he just immediately died.
Yeah, in the movie he died. Yeah, right there after that, which confused the hell out of me because he like holds the gun up after talking about "I'm dying" and shoots into the air, then falls over dead. And I was like, was he supposed to like shoot himself?
No, that was literally what happened in real life. Though it was just a warning shot.
Yeah, they were trying to get the attention of like any responders that were not buried beneath the rubble.
Yeah, if he would have just did a day fucking later, it would have had an impact. But of course, he was a fucking idiot and reactionary as shit.
Exactly.
And he's like, you know what? And that's the thing. He saw darkness. He's like, oh, things are black. I need to shoot. Boom. And that was his last dying thing.
Yeah, he's actually, if you look,
it's like, oh, hip hop style terrorism. Boom.
The final words that he did say, according to the survivors, were "Stop resisting."
That's true.
So, then suddenly cut to Sheboygan, Wisconsin, where there's a bunch of cops sitting in a diner watching the news.
Those bastards.
Yeah,
and that's it. And I think it was like the only location that actually showed up in like a title underneath it. If I'm not mistaken.
They also showed the Gyllenhaal's family in New Jersey and
I mean like not related to New York City necessarily.
Oh yeah, not related.
Like
to
they show footage from like all around the world from like the Middle East, Africa, but then they show Sheboygan, Wisconsin, and I'm like, wait, what? I audibly laughed when I saw that.
Yeah, that was.
How about them freaking Packers over there? I don't know. Was that Wisconsin or New York? I don't know.
That wasn't really Wisconsin, if you ask me.
That was New York. That
isn't the sound of nobody who's ever lived in Sheboygan.
Hey, I'm freaking. I moved to Sheboygan.
I'm from Sheboygan over
how about them
here.
Packers?
I'm a freak. Oi, how about them mitts?
How about them mitts, yeah.
The Wisconsin people had New York accents, and the New York people had Wisconsin accents.
If Nick Cage did a Wisconsin accent in this movie would be the best movie of all time.
Hell yeah,
that would be fucking good.
But
hot fire.
I don't.
Fuck the Middle East. We want the Middle West.
That cut there to Sheboygan, Wisconsin, which lasts all of like 10 seconds.
I didn't know it was 10 seconds. It was like 4 seconds. It like barely lasts shit.
It was deeply confused for the rest of the movie as to why that was there.
Yeah, and I'm like literally
don't worry, it will return. But
why Sheboygan specifically? Like that was, and to be fair, that does become relevant as well.
Also,
but like Sheboygan of all places, this is a weird town to reference.
And also the thing that happens later involving Sheboygan would make absolutely no sense if it wasn't for this 4-second clip.
Yeah,
that they probably were like, oh fuck, we need to bridge the gap here.
Well, I don't know if you know, the entire film crew literally went to Sheboygan for that 10-second shot. Took them, it was a big part of their budget.
They actually flew a plane into
taking a page out of Cage's book of unnecessary preparation.
Yeah, they actually took a plane and they flew it right into the Blue Harbor Hotel.
Yeah, the Blue Harbor Hotel, and of course the Sheboygan South High School.
That
the
makes
famous high school from Sheboygan.
You know, Sheboygan has been dubbed by the surf crowd as the Malibu of the Midwest.
Oh yeah,
by By Spicoli? By who?
Well, I don't know. It's a freshwater haven, an outdoor lover's playground, and a fisherman's sunrise glory. Join us for
like I
a
said, there's a
mancation,
reason why they reference
famcation,
Sheboygan in this movie.
staycation, relaxation-cation, which I believe would just be a vacation,
Nication.
or a pampering girl's getaway. We've got plenty of spas and great wine selection, too. I'm on the Visit Sheboygan website.
Yeah, and there's also a scene in Family Man. Family Man, where Nicolas Cage, his wife is pregnant, and he's like, "Well, what are we gonna have?" And she says, "Sheboygan." It's
By the way,
Sheboygan.
I don't know if you know,
Come on.
but there's a type of vacation where
I
you
like
just
it, I
watch
like
Nick
it.
Cage movies. It's called a
Second.
Nickcation.
Nickcation.
Nickcation? California Nickcation?
California
So,
Nick Cage.
After that brief cut to Sheboygan, it then cuts to New Jersey, where Maggie Gyllenhaal is pregnant and panicking because her husband is Pena, and
Her
he's
husband's Pena's what fucking got her in this situation.
but these I do have to say it keeps cutting to like also all around and showing like people's wives, and like for the majority of the first bits where it shows them repeatedly, I don't know who these people are related to.
Yeah,
And
no,
I
you
don't,
don't.
like,
There's like it was like some random family in New Jersey, like who big fucking dip.
Or they expect you to know these guys' names already because they're just like, oh, wasn't freaking Jack in there? And you're like, oh, wait, is that the Nicolas Cage one? Are they talking about the
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage one?
yeah.
And like a kid's like, oh, I don't know where my dad is. I can't wait to like celebrate my birthday.
Yeah.
Fucking little shit.
Oh, what about my birthday?
Fucking doesn't he know there's a goddamn national tragedy going
People
on right
died.
now? Mhm.
Well, and that's the thing is like, you know what? You made my birthday last year a national treasure, Dad, and now you're making it a national tragedy.
It'd be funny if
You know, straight up. Wait, 1 year before this movie, National Treasure came out, so that's good.
Wait, National Treasure came out in the year 2000?
No, 2005. This movie came out in
Oh,
2006.
the movie, yes.
So
I thought you were
it's-
talking about the event of 9/11.
be funny
Yeah.
if there was a family like having an uncharacteristically early birthday party for the kid, and like as soon as he blows out his candles, the plane goes through the tower.
That has objectively happened.
He's like, "Oh fuck, what did you wish for?" And then they get rid of the kid.
So then, like, a fireball sweeps through and burns Nicolas Cage and Michael Pena a bit. Basically, I'm gonna summarize a lot of the plot for you right here.
Well, there's also in that scene the gun from before that fired that one shot goes off.
Oh yeah, it just starts shooting repeatedly.
Yes,
Bang, bang,
because
bang, bang.
this thing, a cop gun still knows when there's black and like dark.
Yeah.
So it knows that it has to shoot.
It must shoot.
They understand
the
that
officer's
something
down,
was
the gun will-
resisting, and it was of course them because they were squished, but they were resisting arrest. And
like
by
a
the way,
light
that was also based apparently on a true story. Like the heat around like the actual like flames that were going on like caused like the gunpowder to like just start shooting off and shit.
Yeah.
That was based off a real
I
thing too.
should
Apparently.
throw some bullets in a bonfire. Just see
That'd be
what
cool.
happens.
Like,
Throw-
why buy
like yeah,
fireworks?
like kind of like throwing bullets in a campfire, and sometimes you throw macaroni in a pot.
Yeah.
You like could make money off of this or something like.
Hell yeah. A lot of this movie, just the majority of this movie, is going to be like Cage and Michael Pena laying there just talking about, like, don't fall asleep.
Yeah.
You'll die. I think we're dying of internal bleeding.
Which
And
by
then-
the way, that is a line that I said like was saying to myself because I'm like I gotta review this movie.
yeah, I
Fall
gotta
asleep.
review
I'm
this
gonna-
fucking movie. Then it'll cut to their wives doing things, and they're like, "Where are they? I don't know. I'm worried." They're crying. Then it'll cut back to them, and more rubble's falling on them, and they're like, "Oh no!" And then
And
they'll flash back to like memories of their happy lives with their families, and then repeat.
there is
That
a
just
funny
keeps
there
happening
is a
for an
funny Nick
hour.
Cage freak out when they're trapped though, and Michael Pena's like, "Please talk to me, please talk to me." He goes, "Ah, ah, ah." He goes, "I can't. This is how much as I can do because I can't fucking talk because I'm stuck."
Yeah.
Which is an amazing Nick Cage freak out.
That was
and
good.
I think he's saying like, "We fuck now."
We fuck now.
Fucking.
He goes, "Ah, ah." He's about to
Goddamn terrorists!
I can't wait to
Killing me will bring back your goddamn sovereignty. Like,
Yeah.
I can't wait to get out of here and kick the ass of Sam fucking Peckinpah.
Yeah.
And one other thing that happens in the meanwhile of all of this screaming and like wives crying and things like that, there is a man who's at work watching the news, and he just goes, "I don't know if y'all know yet, but this country's at war." And he walks out and just goes to a church, and we find out there at that church he's a former Marine. So this former Marine guy like goes to ground zero, and like we see that the first responders there are all like, "We're calling off the search. It's getting dark. Like, we're not finding anything."
You know what, guys?
But
We're
they're
not
like,
finding anything. It's getting dark. Let's just go home.
Yeah.
I'm bored.
I'm
My mom
tired.
says I have to be home before the streetlights come on.
Yeah, my wife told me I need to come home before the street light turn on so I can beat her.
Yeah, my fucking old ball and chain's gonna make me watch Family Man tonight.
But so that Marine guy meets up with another Marine guy who is also, I don't think,
And
actually
his
an active
name is
duty
Marine Rod, I believe.
Marine Rod. Yep. And they start looking through the rubble, and in the middle of the
Are you
night,
talking about Michael Shannon? My boy.
Yeah, Michael Shannon.
Early Michael Shannon appearance. Good looking fella.
Well, I was gonna say Michael Shannon was in 8 Mile, right?
Yeah.
I think so. I think he was the guy who was fucking Eminem's mom.
Oh, I haven't seen that in a very long time. But I think
Yes. He
you're
was right.
Yeah.
He was the guy who fucking Eminem's mom.
Yeah.
Who was like his age, so he's like 20 years younger.
Right.
So-
Which is, I
A
mean,
little strange, bro.
and one thing I do have to mention is while they're digging through the rubble and looking around, Michael Pena has a dream with like a Jesus that's like hyper saturated and like super
holding a
contrasted.
bottle of water.
Holding a bottle of water, and I gotta say, when I first saw that, I laughed out loud. Legitimately,
That was kind of ridiculous.
yeah.
Oh, but by the way, that was apparently also based on real life because the guy, Michael Pena's character, said he saw like God in a dream telling him that he'd come back home alive.
Oh, that's fine. I
So-
just think they didn't really have to show that in the
No,
movie.
it was really
weird.
unnecessary.
It
And
was
especially
kind of jarring.
like that scene does not really show up in a Oliver Stone movie. That's a
Right.
very strange scene for Oliver Stone.
That was the first thing I thought was that
If this
like,
movie is directed by Mel Gibson, that would make a lot more sense.
for sure. It doesn't seem like an Oliver Stone move.
No, it's weird. This movie's very uncharacteristic of Oliver Stone.
Yeah.
So pretty soon after the Marines find Pena and Cage, they make some phone calls. The wives of Pena and Cage are informed, who like Maggie Gyllenhaal and the other actress, I don't remember her name.
She's a blonde lady.
Jake
Yeah, blondly.
Gyllenhaal.
Michael Pena gets rescued first, and his leg is trapped, and he says, like, just cut off my leg so you can get to Cage quickly. He's gonna die. And they're like, no, I'm not cutting your fucking leg off. Then you'll just die too. And
He's like, no, there's no limb left behind.
But they refuse, and they manage to get Pena free, then return for Cage. Pena is rushed to the hospital, and Maggie Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena have a very tearful reunion as Pena is taken to the OR, and he's like, name our daughter Olivia. Do it. And she's like, I was going to name it Alyssa because that's what you wanted. And he's like, no, Olivia. And then, yeah. Then Cage is being rescued. He struggles to remain conscious because he's dying. Cage is in real bad shape. And he hallucinates talking to his wife about how he let her down because he's going to die trapped. And she's like, you still got to fix the fucking kitchen. Like,
You can't die. You gotta unclog the toilet.
she literally does say, like, you know, the
Yeah, she
kitchen's
literally
not done.
nags him to live.
And she says, like, get off your
walking
ass.
into the light.
He's like, you know what, my fucking dumb bitch wife, I might as well die. And I don't know if you're getting to this, but there's also a scene where a woman is talking to Nick Cage's wife about how she lost somebody at 9/11.
Viola Davis.
Yeah, Viola Davis, future Emmy winner, Viola Davis in one of her early roles.
Yeah.
And she's fantastic in that.
Isn't
role.
she an Oscar winner also?
Yes, she is also an
I
Oscar
think
winner.
her and Cage were the Oscar winners in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Viola Davis is in this movie for like a minute. And she
Yeah.
still has like the best performance in this movie.
Yeah, she says her son was like an elevator operator in one of the towers, and then you cry and sad.
That's the thing. I also unfortunately had family that died in 9/11. And their main contribution to it is they brought box cutter to work that day. And
It's like your grandpa that died at Auschwitz.
yeah, he was manning the towers.
Yeah, it's actually thanks to your uncle that I can't bring a nail clippers when I go to the Bahamas.
I know, it kind of sucked.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, he tried to be
pretty
cool,
fucked
and
up.
it just didn't turn out that way.
Like, I know a lot of people died that day, but also I'd like to trim up my cuticles a little bit
Yeah.
when I go on vacation.
And that's the thing, yeah, I mean, the Mohamed Atta and, Jihad Zara are cool as fuck. But I also don't want to take off my fucking shoes before I get on the fucking plane.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. I
Yeah,
don't like
and then
it.
you have to retie them. And it's like, what am I, traveling or freaking getting ready for work over here?
What in the fuck? So Cage manages to stay awake through the will he got through his hallucinated wife, and he's rescued finally just near dawn, and he's barely alive. He's taken to the hospital, and he says to his wife, like, "You kept me alive." Then cut back, we see a sign that says, "Wisconsin cops love New York." Apparently, these Sheboygan cops came all the way out here to assist, and they're making brats.
Yeah, he's like,
making fucking.
Is he want to come here to help? You like brats? And I was like, oh my
Some of the
god.
best in the world over here.
And by the way, unfortunately, it was not Jihad Zara. It was Ziad Jara, so I just confused the letters there, which is the
Spoonerism.
alias that I will use one day when I don't
Brad?
commit terrorism.
Highest brat you'll get in the whole world. That's a guarantee you can take to the bank, mister. Yeah, sure.
My brat.
Yeah, fun of
Yeah,
brat.
it literally was. And so here's the thing: listeners may not know from the other side of the world in places like I don't know, Indonesia, who might listen to our show. Sheboygan is literally like the biggest sausage producer in the country, basically.
Mhm.
They got Johnsonville, they got a Clements there, they got Old Wisconsin. They're
Yeah.
a big sausage factory over.
And it might seem a little weird that they're like at the scene of this tragedy, like grilling up brats, but actually, in Sheboygan, they in their holsters, they instead of a gun, they have
They have a
brats.
brat.
Well, you know what's really funny?
It's actually a Wisconsin tradition that carried over from Sheboygan that in
Yeah.
the face of tragedy, we make brats.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
we still
I
find a way
love
to murder people, but
I love the fact that even during a national tragedy, like the Ubermenchian fucking Wisconsin cops are like, yeah, that's fine, but like you also want a brat.
The best freaking brat in the world.
It's just amazing. That whole scene, like when he brought up the brat specifically, I cried laughing for like
Oh,
a
man.
minute.
That
I
was-
was like, they really didn't just fucking do that in this
there,
movie.
there was a few moments where I legitimately laughed out loud, including one coming up. But yeah,
yeah.
just very weird. It would have been better if like he's like he offers a brat to the guy, and the guy's like, "All right, well, I'm gonna offer you a New York slice,"
Yeah.
and then
And then a
they
cop from
swap
Philly
food.
shows up and he's like, "And I'm gonna give you a cheesesteak."
And then they were really funny. It's like, you know what would have been great if we just would've mixed them all together.
Whoa! And then the Reese's
It's like-
peanut butter cup
yeah.
CEO is like,
Hey, you're stealing my idea.
Yeah, then it was like, you put your pizza in my brat, you put my Philly cheesesteak in the brat, you know? Like,
And then, yeah, but you know what they won't have? French fries.
Ah.
I mean, they don't know that yet, but that's super unpatriotic.
yeah, no. Well, French onion soup, more like freedom onion soup.
"Hell yeah! French toast, more like cinnamon pussy."
So,
Yeah, French is mustard, more like freedom mustard.
freedoms. So we see the Marine man again.
Yeah, Maureen Todd, right?
Yeah, Marine Todd. Yeah, and he says, he's saying they're gonna need some good men out there to avenge this, and he's just hungry to go out and commit some war crimes in the name of American imperialism.
By the way, like,
Oh,
once again, one of the least emblematic Oliver Stone things.
Yeah,
like, was that supposed to be
seriously.
like that wasn't supposed to be a condemnation of anything. It was like, yeah, we're gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
We're gonna go
Oliver
kill
Stone, man,
some
what the fuck were
kids.
you doing?
Yeah, I have no fucking idea. I guess he got caught up in the wave of patriotism that took over.
But this movie
everybody
came out in
after this movement.
2006. Like most liberals understood that Iraq was a mistake in 2006.
That's true.
Like there's no excuse for this bullshit. Like maybe in 2002, maybe, but like 2006, most liberals knew fucking better than that.
Yeah, but when you think about it, these people are dying for our country.
Which is true.
When they kill kids, it's funny.
Well, that's the thing, I don't know if you know, but like this country is kind of run on opiates, so there's a reason why we had to invade Afghanistan.
Yeah, we had to get that fucking opium.
You had to get that poppy seed.
Mm,
And to be fair, without poppy seed, unfortunately, the best musician of the 2010s, Poppy, wouldn't exist.
yeah. Thank you.
2 years later, cut ahead, Pena and Cage are having a barbecue to thank everyone who helped them. And we hear a monologue from Cage about how 9/11 showed that people could take care of each other for no other reason than it was the right thing to do.
And also, they showed a blink and you miss it cameo of the two guys who were actually stuck under the World Trade Center,
Yeah, this
shaking
is,
the hands of Michael Pena and Nick Cage.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is where I started laughing because they pan in on this barbecue and Nicolas Cage's character has got this really bad gimp walk and he's like fucking limping all the way over to all these people that are clapping for him and it's really funny to me.
It's a little awkward, I will admit.
Yeah.
It's a little awkward.
Wait, so then on screen appears some text with like death stats.
Yeah.
And the real officers who this movie was based on were apparently the 18th and 19th, respectively, rescued out of 20 people rescued total. pulled
I'd
out
like
of
to know the
wreckage.
last person I got rescued because I tried looking up online and I
me.
could not find. Yeah, it was you. Yes. In fact, that show Rescue Me was about you.
It's actually the guy that was filming them laying there beneath the rubble.
But I tried finding more research on the people who did survive, and the only thing I could find were these two guys. I couldn't find the other 18 people.
Yeah,
So I would have loved to
probably
find
because they
that-
wrote a
that.
book about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, the other survivors I don't really care about.
And also,
They can
in,
fuck off.
and that's your synopsis, right? Yes,
Oh,
that's it.
yeah. Also, they're retired now and live with their families. But that's all I got for the plot summary.
So in that death stat, I think kind of showed the ultimate folly with this movie. Is that they showed that roughly like 37 cops died on 9/11.
Mhm.
But they forgot about the 350 firefighters.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? I feel like a movie that would have detailed the firefighters like issues would have been far more interesting. I feel like focusing a movie on these two guys was a bad idea because their story's fucking boring. They
It
set
was
out the
pretty
vast
boring.
majority of 9/11.
Mhm.
It's
Literally, just like 9/11 started, and they're like, "All right, let's get our gear," and then
And they just get
bam.
fucking owned immediately and they miss all of it.
I mean,
like,
in the
such
defense
lame
of the
bullshit.
filmmakers, why do they need firefighters? There wasn't a fire. It was a freaking building got hit by a plane.
Which is
So-
true. I mean, that's the thing is that, of course, jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams, so there was no fire. It just collapsed.
Right.
It was an implosion by a George W. Bush and the Mossad.
So basically, they were like,
Um,
they called the fire department and they're like, okay, where's the fire? And they're like, well, it's not technically a fire. And they're like, okay, call fucking cops then.
and, he's like, you know what? We didn't start the fire, okay?
It was always burning.
But no, in all seriousness, though, like, pointing a movie about two guys that just get fucking, like, put out of commission for the entire fucking event is a dumb idea for a fucking movie. It doesn't make any sense. It's boring shit.
It is really strange choice.
It's so good.
I was kind of expecting it to be like a disaster movie type thing.
And that's the thing is that in real life, the very first people to the quote unquote the first responders were the firefighters who, no joke, responded to the towers getting hit in 11 seconds. That is the official fucking response time of the New York City Fire Department.
Suspiciously fast, almost like they knew.
Well, that's the thing. It's freaky fast. They also used to work for Jimmy John's. But that's the thing though is that like almost 350 firefighters died on 9/11. That's a way more interesting fucking story. That's a bloodbath. That's a major battle's worth of people dying. It's insane that they didn't cover that over just two guys who just get put out of commission immediately. Like, what the fuck were they thinking making this a movie?
Yeah,
This shit's
very
boring.
strange.
It is. I will say, I think the first like 20 or 30 minutes of this movie are pretty good. I mean, they're interesting to watch at least.
No, I will admit, I think every single bit of the movie until they get trapped under
Yeah.
the fucking towers is good.
Yeah,
It's
and then they
and
get
in
trapped-
fact, the actual showing of, I mean, their artistic, reenactment, because of course they couldn't actually reenact the Twin Towers because you can't build the Twin Towers that fucking fast. Rome wasn't built in a day. The Twin Towers weren't built in a day, right?
Yeah, I mean, freaking Rome was built in 2 days.
But
so-
that shit was genuinely kind of disturbing because they did show like people jumping out of the windows and shit and like
That
papers
surprised
flying
me,
everywhere.
'cause- Yeah,
I mean, because most people don't talk about that, but a shit ton of people jumped out of the fucking building.
yeah, and at first it
the
seemed like
buildings,
they
but-
were kind of going a little bit light on like showing the actual footage of the building burning, and then all of a sudden it turns out I was wrong about that.
Yeah, they did show a lot. I do think though that it was still tame in a lot of ways. Like they didn't show, of course, the planes actually hitting the buildings.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think they could have gotten away with that in 2006, to be honest. So that was probably good for them to
Yeah.
like not try it. But no, I do think that stuff was genuinely really good. But then after that, it just was a fucking bore.
Yeah, and honestly, it's so poorly paced even too. Because
It
even
really is
with
very
them
poorly
there and
paced.
like the rubble falling and stuff like that, you could make it interesting. But anytime there's any sort of build of tension or something, it cuts away to like a flashback that's pointless. Like
Yeah.
I don't need to see like the day that Cage found out his wife was pregnant with their their fourth kid. Like what bearing did that have on this story?
No,
Yeah,
it-
of
yeah.
all the movies where you really don't need any extra sympathy for these people, it just seems totally unnecessary to show these people's like.
And by the way, that's the thing you
entire
really need of
backstory.
is show more sympathy. Are first responders on 9/11 who are being horrifically like, who are probably going to die unless they're found in 2 minutes. Those are people who need more sympathy, by the way.
Yeah.
And more character development to like make them be seen as sympathetic characters. No, just complete fucking waste. Like I said, I do not understand why they made a movie about these two characters. And, to be fair, in real life, I'm sure these guys are probably nice guys. I don't want to watch a fucking movie about it, though.
Yeah, they
Shit's
walk
stupid.
funny. Let's make a movie
Yeah.
about that.
By the way, they were the original inspiration for the Ministry of Silly Walks. So, but yeah, I
Universal
don't
Silly
know.
Walk.
I didn't hate this movie, but I did think it was just mostly boring and kind of pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I will say, like, it wasn't just horrible. Nothing really happens. Like, men are trapped, spouses cry, rubble falls. There's a flashback, repeat, and it kind of reminded me almost of USS Indianapolis, Men of Courage,
Oh yeah.
and how basically every scene is the same scene but just slightly different, and nothing is happening.
Yeah, and really the only difference is that in that movie they say I'm floating here.
Yeah. Yeah, whereas here they say, I'm walking here.
Exactly.
Or, I'm flying here.
And watching this movie actually made me wonder what happens in 127 hours because
Yeah.
I have no idea. I've never seen it.
I haven't either.
I don't know what could possibly happen to make that captivating. So yeah,
And well, that one was nominated for like Best Picture, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
it's got to be at least a little more interesting than this. But I went into this expecting to be annoyed by like jingoism and patriotism,
And there
like,
definitely was some of that, especially from Marine Todd.
there was
For
from
sure,
Marine
yeah.
Squad, definitely,
Twad.
and like all the American mythologizing of 9/11. But I wasn't nearly as annoyed with that as I thought I would. It was kind of low on it, while it was definitely there,
I mean,
and present.
especially with all the
But-
fucking horrific like jingoism that came out after 9/11 in real life. Like this shit was pretty tame.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
Toby Keith fucking shit was going on, and like talk about I mean like
Nobody was
using
talking about-
slurs for these people, like literally like lynching and fucking killing Muslims in the street. Like this shit was
Yeah.
pretty tame in comparison.
they could have showed people being racist or talking about putting a boot in their ass. But for the most part, it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Oh yeah.
but yeah,
And to be fair, I think a lot of that was Oliver Stone. Because of
Yeah.
course he's not a very famous, not a reactionary figure for the most part.
Right.
But yeah, I went in there expecting to be annoyed by that, and instead I was just annoyed by how fucking bored I was for most of this
Yeah.
movie.
And like, even
And-
though I said it a million times, this movie is fucking boring and
Yeah,
pointless.
its attempts at tear jerking just were not very effective on me, and just bad pacing.
I went through like 3 boxes of Kleenex. I was checking.
And I think part of it is that of course they're trying to symbolize that like Michael Pena and Nick Cage, the two survivors, of course. It's like, oh, they're good guys. They're trying to save the day, but like they don't really exemplify anything before that would give you that impression.
Yeah,
All they're doing
right.
is just harassing people at the fucking Port Authority.
Yeah, and then Michael
Like-
Pena is spending the whole time trapped under the rubble, being like, I dreamt of being a cop my whole life," which is like sympathy lost.
Yeah, and especially in 2020, that's not a thing to be like, oh, that's cool shit, actually.
Oh wow! It's
Yeah,
like,
well, that's cool.
and look where that got you, fuckface.
Yeah,
I will say,
So no, I will say, yeah, that
Mm.
I don't understand. I just don't understand what the motivation of this movie was trying to do. Like, oh, these guys are so good, they're so virtuous, but like I said, they don't do anything to show that prior.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was expecting this to be a lot more disgusting than it was. It was definitely boring. I mean, it was kind of like two good movies, and in the middle was a bunch of poop.
Yeah.
And sorry, I have to be.
And listen, I am more than okay with showing 9/11 in movies. I mean, it is my favorite day of my life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I said, you have to make it interesting, and you have to show a real you have to show like a real story of courage and heroism, not a guy trying and then just gets owned immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Frankly, I like the first responders that didn't get trapped.
Yeah.
yeah. I like the first
the real fucking
responders that
heroes.
didn't need their asses saved by the last responders.
Yeah, with fucking losers.
Fucking pussies.
So, Dave, do you have a plot summary for us?
What?
Plot summary?
Is that him saying it, or
Yeah,
is that
do
the
you have a
soundboard?
plot summary for 9/11?
I got this idea, and like, what it is that we like go around the world, like me and you, and we just like hack. We like could make money off of this or something like.
Well, it's Nicolas Cage. Why not?
Yeah. All right. Well, that was
That was
Pretty-
very informative.
yeah, very important.
And to be fair, just like 9/11, that was a national tragedy in itself.
And just like 9/11, I'm going to celebrate that review every year with a barbecue. So
Gotta get a good brat too. Gotta go to
Gotta
New
get
York City.
get a good friggin' Sheboygan brat.
Get some Johnsonville fucking brats over here.
Fuck yeah.
I guess all that's left are Amazon reviews, which Mike,
And I think you guys are
wanna
going to
take
do
the
a cage fight first. You're going to tag team these Amazon reviews.
yes, because I couldn't resist looking up some Amazon reviews for a 9/11 related
Yeah,
food.
this is one of those movies where even if you haven't heard some of the shit you can dig up on these movies, there's going to be some gems in here.
Yeah, there's going to be some real actual Marine Todd moments.
Yeah, because if it's a movie about anything political or about like
Or even anything that
coming
might
in touch with the
mildly kind of be related to politics.
Yeah.
Why is Alba Stone making movies about politics all of a sudden? Why do movies have to get political by having LGBT
What?
characters?
Shut up and direct.
I don't see color.
So, do you wanna go back and forth, or how do you want to do
I think
this?
you should
Yeah,
do
let's
one.
just
Yeah,
go
do
back
back
and
and forth. I think.
All right, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll start us off with this one, and I think you'll have a relevant thing for us, Dave, here. But this is by Stacy Ludwig. She gives it 5 stars, and it's titled "Why Not?" It's Nicolas Cage, after all.
Well, it's Nicolas Cage.
Well, it's
why
Nicolas
not? Cage. Why not?
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real. When I hit that button, I was like, shit, Mike is just talking over it. I gotta hit the button again. Is the button not working? Sorry, but it was Mike.
Well, it's
anyway.
Nicolas Cage. Do I sound like that? What the
You,
fuck?
you sound like a fucking radio announcer. Like you have the perfect voice for this shit.
Well, it's Nicolas
Seriously,
Cage.
this should be your fucking your bread and butter. Anyways,
This is Mike back from the Who Studios.
Somebody pay me.
So Stacy says, well, first things first, it's Nicolas Cage, and I will watch anything with him in it. I have recently enjoyed some of his recent work from 2016 to 2019. I love them all.
Can we have this person on our show?
And
This is a future guest.
yeah, it is. It's got to be a future guest. And I have to say, I love how she starts it with, well, first things first, it's Nicolas Cage. But she doesn't have any second point.
And second, Nick Cage. And that's it.
Sometimes you don't need a second point if the first one's that solid.
That is actually really true. You only need 1 point, really.
I mean, you still say first things first because it sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
First things
That's
first.
why so many
I'm a-
songs start with it.
Yeah. Iggy Azalea.
Imagine Dragons.
Weird Al covering Iggy Azalea.
But yeah, that's all Stacy had to say.
Okay. So, what do I got here? I got a review from Lacey Joe, who says, more than 2 hours of intense drama. And Lacey writes, from the first 10 minutes until the end, I didn't have a normal breath. Then had to walk around quietly for a time. So many of us lived it again. The years have not stayed the pain and anger. I don't know what that means. Perhaps movies like these are a catharsis, a purging of the intensity of the shock and all that went with it. Very well done, from the directing to the acting and all of the talent and labor of each person involved in this movie. Thanks, Amazon, for offering this.
I love that she thinks Amazon.
I thought that was going to go in a more disturbing direction than it did.
Sometimes I just like to, include the people who are really putting in the work here.
Okay, fair enough. And to be fair, I mean, she did have a very emotional reaction to this film, and she didn't go apeshit. So I do applaud her for that.
So emotional about this movie that just really stoked about Amazon's selection of DVDs, because this one's not streaming.
Oh, okay.
I've got one here from Luis, who gives it 5
I'm sorry,
stars.
you said Luis K?
Yes. Luis K, who gives it 5 stars, and it's sometimes we must risk our lives to save
jack
others.
off in front of. No, never mind. Oh, different Luis.
Yeah, different
K.
Luis, who's hanging with Brett.
Yeah, different Luis K.
World Trade Center is a movie about the cowardly attacks on the World Trade Center by Al Qaeda.
Don't talk about my fucking family like that, you cunt.
The attack killed over 2,900 people to date. It's taken well over 3,000 American lives. I don't understand that.
So what I think it's trying to say is that almost 3,000 people died in 9/11 over that because we send people to pointless wars.
And also like the cancer that you got from the dust.
Yeah, like tens of thousands of people like died of mesothelioma and other cancers afterwards. So.
Yeah.
Of the people killed were innocent civilians, police officers, firefighters, and other first responders.
Listen, don't put innocent civilians and fire and police officers in that same fucking sentence.
It's
Okay.
true.
What about the innocent terrorists that
Because I was gonna say,
Yeah,
I mean,
the
yeah,
innocent goddamn terrorists that just
And-
tried to fly a plane into a tower.
innocent civilians and police officers very rarely have positive interaction.
Very true. I thank Oliver Stone for bringing this story to life. This movie shows the courage of all Americans who made the ultimate sacrifice to try to save others. The acting was superlative from all the actors involved.
I don't agree
Nicolas
with that.
Cage, spelled with an H, Michael Pena, and all the others gave us a magnificent film. I can only imagine how many people cried when they saw this movie. The first time I saw this movie, I cried. I also cried on that horrible day, and these acts of terrorism were committed as others did. 9/11/2001, rest in peace.
Wait. Rest in peace, like the day of 9/11.
Yes.
I guess.
Is she a fucking Langolier? Does she eat time in the past? Like, what the fuck?
I think it's a guy.
It's like, you know what?
Luis,
The day it will always be gone because the Langoliers ate it.
But I do have to say, they said the cowardly attacks on the World Trade Center by Al Qaeda, and I got to say, I mean, I think this point has been made before, but I don't think it's very cowardly to hijack a plane and kill
It takes
yourself
a
in
lot
the
of
process.
courage.
That's a lot of
hijack
courage.
a plane with box cutters and be like, I think this is gonna work, guys.
Yeah.
And learning how to pilot a plane that took 2 years, I don't know. That's a lot of planning.
Yeah, I mean, I second guess when my boss asked me to like submit my timesheet. If they told me to crash a plane, I wouldn't be just right on board.
Like, hey, listen, you can call it like evil, but cowardly? No, that took a lot of balls to do that shit.
Yeah, seriously.
Lots of
They're
it.
heroes.
And they were like, you talk about my god king, Mohamed Atta, like, dude is smart as shit. So he decided instead of to like have a lucrative career, because I don't even remember I think he was like an architect or something like that. So like have a lucrative career to architect, but instead just like blow up a fucking building by just being like, you know what? I'm just gonna learn how to fly a plane.
That's the
Yeah,
opposite
dude,
of
that's
literally
brave as
spent
shit.
over
Think about
2
it.
years learning how to fly a plane just so he could do that.
Yeah.
That's
like,
some dedication.
don't get me wrong. I don't think, and I'm going to be on record as saying this because I know I made myself unclear earlier. 9/11, I know it's a controversial take. 9/11 was bad. Okay, I will say 9/11 shouldn't have happened, but you gotta hand it to them. It was very brave. So it's a very radical centrist position on 9/11.
It's always good to pick the center, right?
yeah, I mean,
It's always good to pick the center right too,
not left, not right,
Yeah.
but
which is why you should vote for Joe Biden 2020.
is he running?
I think he is.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
You can only campaign 2 hours out of the day, so
He's running. What's he trying to catch?
fucking.
Listen, Jack.
I got a review from LA in PA. It's titled "Sorry, So Many Innocent People Died." And
Oh, this is gonna be great.
they write, "Thoughtful. No terrorists flew planes into these buildings. God bless the many fire, police, and innocent civilians that died in this staged tragic event."
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I
that
honestly,
would
like,
caught my eye immediately.
I was genuinely not. And listen, I know I should have been less naive. I did not expect there was gonna be 9/11 truthers on this episode.
Oh yeah,
I
they're-
genuinely didn't.
They're out there.
That one threw me for a fucking loop. Did he literally say it like in his like profiles, like his script, his like profile description or whatever? He's like, "Hey, my name is blah blah blah. Jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams."
He has 2 reviews: this movie and Loose Change.
Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense then. He also should have made a review for that Popular Mechanics article.
And Passion of the Christ.
Yeah.
I got one here from Jeremy.
Jeremy
spoken.
How do you make a boring movie about the pivotal moment in American history?
You know what, fucking Jeremy? You're going to be on the show soon, too.
Oliver Stone is on it. That's the title. Would you like an exceptionally boring movie about the pivotal turning point in American history filled with anti-American conspiracy theory innuendo? If so, this movie is for you.
Anti-American
Okay.
conspiracy innuendo.
Wait,
Yes.
where?
Yeah, that was why I brought
Where?
it here. Where exactly is there anti-American conspiracy?
Yeah, the movie's pretty, like, I mean, for a 2006 liberal, this is like the most jingoistic they
Well,
were
I
getting
believe.
at this point
Am I
for the
wrong in
Iraq
saying
War.
Maggie Gyllenhaal says that she believes it's America's fault?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I do believe that Nick Cage's wife goes on a rant about how interference in Middle Eastern politics and the various like coups and government topplings that we do kind of exacerbated and sort of like created the sort of ideological.
She's
like,
talking about
fodder that would
chickens
create
coming
this.
home to roost.
Yeah,
something like that.
she mentioned that phrase, and she's like, you know what? If all these American pig dogs are gonna fucking keep getting in Iran shit, this is gonna keep happening. So I think that's what he was talking about.
Well, to defend this reviewer, it is pretty anti-American to actually fly a plane into a building. So maybe that's what they were talking about.
Yeah, I think he was talking about specifically like what the hijackers did, because that was a specifically anti-American attack.
True. Yeah.
You know, Mohamed Atta, do better. Okay.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Have done better.
Be more patriotic.
I got a review from Donald C. Willison, and they wrote a review titled "Every Shore This Movie."
Every shore this movie.
Wait.
Every Shore This Movie.
How is shore spelled?
S-U-R-E.
Every sure this movie.
Yep.
So you sure this movie every.
Every? Sure. This movie.
Okay, go for it.
And they write, World Trade Center, I forget about this day.
You broke the rule, man.
hold
You're
on.
supposed to never forget.
Yeah, never forget.
I'm not sure the way. I don't know how this is supposed to be read because this is all one sentence. World Trade Center, I forget about this day that United States at war.
What?
And the other sentence in this review is simply other country. Oh God. The second sentence in this review is other country on this day.
What?
So the full review.
Where was this written from?
These are American reviews.
This is like Marie Todd if he was illiterate. What the fuck?
These are American reviews. I'm not making fun of someone who can't speak English very well.
This person has a preschool literacy level.
Well, they said other country on this day, so I thought, are they out of the country?
What?
on
No,
Okay.
they
9/11?
say World Trade Center. I forget about this day that United States at war. Other country on this day.
Okay, so wait, is there more?
Nope.
You found a good one there, Fred.
Every shore this movie. This is like this was a review written by predictive text.
You know, though, there's that thing about like, you know, liberals are always like fucking Russian bots. That was written by a Russian bot.
This is a legitimate Russian bot review, which was also written mere months ago.
No, it's a Russian bot review. Putin paid somebody
8
$100
a.m.
to do
Moscow time.
that. Yeah, is there metadata for when that review was posted?
So I got
oh my
one.
fucking god, that was amazing.
I got a 1-star review here from CR Love, whose title is Absolute Crap.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I almost
disagree, no matter what.
universally like Nicolas Cage movies, but this was crap. Sure, many people think Cage is a bad actor. I happen to think he's pretty good, but this was so poorly done, I can't even believe it was an Oliver Stone movie. Then again, Oliver Stone did The Doors too, where he made Morrison look like a brain-dead drunk. Maybe Stone just isn't that good. Besides Cage, there were a couple other familiar faces who weren't too bad, but most of the cast was either unknown or not memorable because they aren't good enough actors to leave an imprint. The movie starts out at a mid-pace, then 20 minutes in, it drops to a dead crawl. After that, it's all over the board. The flow is inconsistent, the scene arrangement seems out of order half the time. Anyway, just wait until you see the pregnant woman and who her partner is. Out of all the millions of normal couples in New York City, they highlight this. So there it is, another reason to not like about this Nicolas Cage movie. What a shame. Jesus fucking Christ. Just is like, I didn't
Okay,
like
so-
this
so-
movie, it was
okay, so-
boring. Oh, and also there's an interracial couple.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait. This movie goes from like pretty solid film criticism to just Nazi propaganda. Like what?
What
fuck?
the fuck?
Wait,
And
what?
first of all, Michael Shannon is really great, so you can eat it, and almost as bad as that is what you said about the.
And listen, you know, once again, Viola Davis once again does a great performance.
Oh, yeah.
So don't forget Viola. Don't sleep on Viola
Don't
Davis.
sleep on Viola
And,
Davis.
well, to be fair,
Sleep with
this,
Viola Davis.
I was gonna say this guy might not appreciate it, but I would be willing to sleep with Viola Davis. But no, really, like that's insane.
Yeah.
To like go from that to just racism, just immediately.
Of all the issues
Oh
you
my
could have
God.
with this movie, is that really something that stood out?
This guy's got the most
Seriously.
lucid racism Tourette's I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's
He's like,
fucking-
hey, listen, you know what? I was just going about my normal day. Those darkies! Like, that's literally what he just did, but way
Jesus.
more lucid and coherent.
Of all the normal couples,
Yeah.
What
Whoa.
the fuck?
now
Are
define.
you kidding me?
Are
What the
normal
fuck?
couples just couples that are all white, or people that just stick to their race?
Yeah, that is insane. And also, by the way, this movie was written about a Latin American guy who's probably married to a white woman. So eat it. This is
Yeah.
historically accurate. So suck
Yeah,
my
if
nuts.
we didn't mention it in the thing, like Michael Pena's character was married to Maggie Gyllenhaal, so it's
And to be
Yeah,
fair, in real
so
life, the
it's-
cop was born in Venezuela, but we don't know if he was supporting the good side of the Venezuelan conflict.
oh yeah.
I mean, probably the bad side.
I mean, I was gonna say he does live in New York City, and they do have a lot of Guidos there, like Juan Guido. But yes, that review was great. Good film criticism, bad racism. I give that review a 2.5 out of 5.
Yeah, it was just kind of nuts to me. That's why it
How
stood
many
out
people
immediately.
found that
It was-
review helpful?
Oh, I didn't look.
I
I think it was 3, if I remember correctly.
Jesus
Wait,
Christ.
3 out of how many?
I don't know. I
I mean, 3 is still too many.
Yeah, 3 is too many.
Yeah,
There's one person it can be his alt account. That's it.
exactly. Jesus.
Yeah, what
okay.
a fucking psychotic review. Jesus Christ.
I have a review that I don't know, but hopefully is less racist, from Marshall Balney.
Hopefully less racist.
Marshall Balney writes, "Well, it's gone." Okay, now there is more to the review. I just wanted to linger on that for a second.
Oh, wait, it's gone.
This is a commemorative to me for the World Trade Center since it's gone. Like the towers, it is also lost.
Since you've been gone.
I must go and find it and watch it again. It was a real bargain, $3 or so. It also made my order enough to get free shipping, which is probably why it was free and I still saved money. So, it sounds like they got this on DVD and then lost it, which they likened to losing the World Trade Center, maybe. But also,
That's
like,
incredible.
of all the things I learned from this movie, I just really think it's important to get free shipping.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Is that speaking of Kelly Clarkson, like when the towers fell and all the smoke was gone, that was the inspiration for that song. Since you've been gone, I can breathe for the first time.
Since
Without a
the-
respirator.
Since the dust is gone.
So I have one here from Laura L. Grove. This is only a long trailer, not the whole movie. And she writes, I never got anything for my rental payment of $3 or $4 except a long minute and a half or so trailer from clicking watch movie now after payment cleared. I suppose it could be an okay movie. That's it.
Another technical support question.
Minute and a half is actually a pretty short trailer.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. To be fair, that was definitely not as bad as the one guy who was like, I didn't get a chance to watch the movie. Something came up.
That was my favorite one.
That was a pretty good review, though. Because she's like, you know what? I wanted to watch this movie. I just got the trailer. So this movie might be okay. What was the star rating on that?
1.
Oh, fuck you, bitch.
hey,
At least review it when you actually watch the goddamn movie and
I
figure
saw
out
the-
your shit.
I saw the trailer for this movie and I want my $4 back because I don't want to watch the whole thing if there's going to be an interracial couple in it.
Last thing, there was a movie with Fred Durst in it, and I wanted my $3 bill, y'all. I wanted back my $3 bill, y'all.
Hey!
Oh, sorry.
I have a review from actually one of the coolest bugs you can ever find, Mansquito. And Mansquito writes,
What does he suck?
I don't know, man. He writes, this is disgusting, not literally. I find the fact that this movie has been made to be disgusting. This movie should be free of charge if it is made at all. Personally, I think it's too soon to make a movie about all those who died. What's worse is that someone is making millions off the deaths of thousands of Americans. They're not donating it to charities or the families of the victims. No, they're pocketing it and buying their mansions and supercars. It's sick using our nation's tragedy to further themselves. That's it.
Couldn't
You
you,
know-
kind of make that same complaint about like every war movie ever made, or
Well,
every
I
movie
know.
about any
So
disaster?
I think kind of the big difference though is that like, and I know I mentioned it earlier, but this movie did come out like 5 fucking years after the event.
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty fresh wound.
True.
So like, even though I do think that guy's being pretty fucking overly dramatic, I do kind of understand where he's coming from a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I do think that the proceeds of this movie should have went to like some fucking first responders charity or some shit like that. Because Nick Cage, well, I mean, he does need more money to pay off his always constantly increasing IRS debt.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like Oliver Stone, you did a bad job. You don't need a paycheck.
Yeah, true.
That's true.
Viola Davis, you did a good job, honey, but you don't get a paycheck.
Yeah.
And Michael
that
Shannon,
goes to
you
the
were
dead
great
kids,
in
honey.
8 Mile, but actually learn how to rap and make money that way because you're not getting a paycheck.
Yeah.
So all the money's going to charity.
I got one here from Janet.
Damn it, Janet. Am I right?
Yeah, it's titled "He Hated It," and it is
God?
my son had to watch it for school. He hated it. 1 star.
Damn. So this is,
she didn't even watch it. It was a secondhand review.
Yeah, her son did not like it.
She trusts her son enough that she's willing to base her entire review for this movie based off his opinion.
Yeah,
That's
based
true.
off of probably a 13-year-old's
Which,
opinion.
You know,
not motivated by the fact that he had to watch it for school.
Yeah, right.
I left out her last name. Her name was Janet Ebert, and
Siskel?
Yeah, I was gonna say she's related to Siskel Ebert. Yeah, Siskel and Gene Ebert's fucking kid. Oh no, Roger Ebert's kid. Sorry.
Gene Ebert.
also, why was her kid watching this for school?
Yeah, why was Roger
saw a
Ebert
few
in
reviews
school in
that
the?
said that.
Why was Roger Ebert in school in the? Well, I mean, I think he took inspiration from Cameron Crowe to go to do.
Yeah.
I have one more review.
Oh, okay. I've got a few more. Maybe I should have cut some of these.
No, that's okay. And this is written by a user named Ron Polygirl. One word.
Wait. Is it a combination of Ron Perlman and Pauly Shore?
I hope so.
Who is a feminine? Who's feminine passing?
Is it Ron Paul's daughter?
Yeah, I think so. Or it's
Yeah, Rand Paul. If they
it's,
finally followed their
it's
real.
Rand Paul actually.
Yeah. It's Rand Paul if they finally transition.
So Ron Polygirl writes, wanted more exposure of bombs. And they say this story was strictly focused on the guys getting freed from the rubble. While this is good in and of itself, I would have liked more focus on the continual bombs being detonated. This was a controlled demolition. Inside job.
Yes.
Why did the sheeple keep their heads in the sand? No truth, no justice.
By the way, this was absolutely Ron Paul's daughter, Rand Paul. This was absolutely that. I mean, Ron Paul's a truther, like literally, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think Rand Paul is also probably a truther, if I'm not mistaken.
Rand Paul is actually just a fan of the truth in general. And I'm a big
So
fan of
that was great. I do love that there was actual representation of 9/11 truthers in these reviews. I'm
it
very
is
pleasantly
nice to
surprised
see a
about that.
little bit.
I was not expecting that because
Yeah.
it's mostly been kind of debunked by the by the liberal media. But at the same time, I do think it's something that people should talk about.
Yeah.
By the liberal cultural Marxist media.
Liberal cuck media.
Yeah, cuck media, exactly.
So I got one here from Danzig 138.
Mother.
Tell your children not to fly in United 93.
Tell your children not to fly this plane.
Tell your children to fight guys in with box cutters.
Tell your children to sleep in and create the Cleveland show.
Tell your children to be a famous actor one day.
Not about to crash a plane. If you want a box cut with me.
I can show
Till
you.
America's bleeding.
I can show you what jihad is like.
Father, gonna take a tower out tonight.
Oh, tower.
So Danzig titles his review slightly better than Cage's Left Behind, but only slightly.
Wait, okay. We need your opinion right now, Mike. Do you agree with that?
I would say Left Behind is one of the greatest works of art in this Christian country that we live in.
And Dave, do you agree with that review?
Left Behind was fucking garbage.
I think saying something is better than Left Behind is just like That's just like saying like water is wet.
But saying it's barely better, that's where it gets controversial.
But Danzig says, this movie is crap on every level. Even for a Nick Cage movie, this is bad.
Whoa.
What is bad about it? The acting, the directing, the script, the photography, the effects, the casting, the pacing, the sound, the accuracy of the story, everything else.
The Craft Studios.
Yeah, the damn craft services.
Sorry.
Fuck.
As
I mean,
if this-
Kraft Mac and Cheese had a lot to do with that. The Kraft Studios were producers on this film.
As of this review, 57% of the 376 reviews gave this movie 5 stars. That's about 214 liars, plants, shills, and or people with terrible cinematic taste.
Oh, do we get some more truther stuff?
No, that's all.
Oh,
Whoa! I
oh.
can show you what it's like. Jet fuel, steel beams.
Tower, won't you get the fuck up out my way?
Can't you see I'm trying to fly a plane?
Okay, so I do agree with some of that review. Mainly the pacing is bad, but like the accuracy, this movie's, from what I understand, is pretty historically accurate.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
the
but you
towers
are a
did
plant and a
collapse.
shill. So
I am a shill. This is true. And I voted for Shillery.
Oh yeah. Dollar sign
Benghazi
Hillary.
happened.
Benghazi. I mean,
Yeah, Benghazi from Code Talkers.
yeah. And actually, has anybody found Benghazi's emails? Because I think he's lying.
Yeah.
I got something to say. I took down a tower today, and it doesn't matter that much to me.
How about Johnny
As
Cash's
long as
hurt,
they're
the 9/11?
dead.
Blew up some towers with controlled demolitions today.
Fly, 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 my pilot.
Lenny Kravitz fly away. I want to get away and crash the plane into the tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a dragonfly. Oh, he's gonna do. Yeah.
American woman, go and fight overseas.
Here's one from Baba Rufus.
You said Barbara Rufus or Baba Rufus?
Well, it's spelled like Babe and Rufus combined into one word.
Sounds sexy.
Babe Rufus.
And it is titled Boring. They turned 9/11 into a chick flick.
Wait, what? Wait,
This could have been
what?
This could have been a spectacularly produced action movie with dazzling special effects. And I was hoping that main feeling the movie intended to evoke in its viewers is a renewed horror and anger at what those scumbag terrorists did to this country on that infamous day. Instead, they focus on only 2 of the hundreds of heroes involved in the tragedy and hone in on the same old warm and fuzzy feelings about kids and marriages tainted by stupid trivial things like remodeling kitchens. Boring! While the support that the 2 main characters lent each other and resulting in both being rescued is indeed inspiring, I thought the movie got way too focused on one little story of the whole incident, rather than showing what happened on a grander scale. Luckily, I only rented the DVD and did not buy it. It's not worth it. You can buy any number of chick flicks in the 550 bin at Walmart.
I don't know if I'd quite call this a chick flick.
I have no fucking idea how this qualifies as a chick flick.
I will
I
say.
think it's the idea of anything involving women as a chick flick to this guy. This is a real incel fucking review.
Or maybe it made him cry, and he was like, "What the fuck? This is for chicks."
Man, I don't fucking cry for a pussy.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say this kind of came across to me as a chick flick the first time I watched it because my wife made me sit down and watch it. But then after I watched it, with a beer in my hand, I realized I was wrong. So
Yeah, you fucking beer in your hand, broad on your side, just being like, you know what?
Yeah.
This movie's fucking badass.
this is a chick flick. Hey, what the fuck? Where's Matthew McConaughey?
This thing is the chick flick. My fucking chick's gonna be next to me, and we're gonna love and support each other watching a movie about a national tragedy, man.
Ooh, give me brain while I'm fucking watching Oliver Stone and Eve.
And listen, my chick gives me brain because I love and respect her, and she loves and respects me back, and she understands my needs. I understand her needs. We're a real loving couple.
Maybe the person who wrote this review saw the tweet that I did a few months ago about when we were kind of on a break. I did a tweet about these two romantic comedies going head to head, Family Man and World Trade Center. So maybe they saw that tweet and just got confused about the premise of this movie.
Yeah, they might have. I got one here from Critter Mom. Sorry, I've got so many. And she says, more than I expected. I found this to be a very powerful and riveting movie. I had feared it was just another disaster movie. No, it is not just another disaster movie. I hadn't realized until after I had watched it that it was an Oliver Stone movie.
That's usually what, like, right after the movie is when you realize who made it.
Yeah.
It says directed by, and you're like, wait, that libtard directed it?
As with some of his other movies, it puts you in the moment there with the characters, and I feel it captures as close to the reality as could be accomplished for the big screen. And now here's why I selected this one, because I believe it's a meta-commentary on this whole segment.
Oh, shit.
I had to read some of the one-star reviews after watching the movie, and each that I read was because the customer either had purchased the DVD and it didn't play, or had paid for it yet and couldn't watch it.
Are you Critter Mom? Just curious. I mean, you do live in the middle of nowhere. There are a lot of critters around
I'm not
here.
Critter Mom, unfortunately.
By
None
the way,
of
Critter
those...
Mom, your critter fucking shit in the next room, and we can all smell it. Remember?
Oh, true, yes. None of those I read referred to the movie itself, but I didn't read them all, I don't think. That's it.
Okay.
You know what, though? That fucking review, that was a good-ass review, let me tell you. That was a good-ass
I
review.
will say, there's a shocking amount of Amazon reviews on every single movie that are about how people just can't watch it.
I tried watching it. You know what happened? My TV blew up. 1 star.
I got a call from my ex-wife, and she said my nephew Cody is actually in rehab right now, and he wants to see me specifically, so I can't watch the movie right now. But when I get back from Palm Springs, I actually have earmarked some time to watch this movie, at which point I will come back and write a further review.
But at least for right now, I gotta give it 1 star because I didn't watch it.
I gotta give it 1 star because if it was good, I probably would have seen it already.
Like, that's like half the reviews on Amazon.
Yeah, take every star rating for a movie on Amazon with a huge grain of salt, because so many people are angry at the movie specifically because they don't know how to use the internet or their
They do not
Blu-ray
use
player
like a fucking
machine.
remote control for the DVD player.
Oh. Well, I think that's all the Amazon reviews we have then.
And those are some good Amazon reviews. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great movie.
Sorry, I probably brought too many of those to the
Yeah,
table
there's
there.
so many good ones.
But,
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we have anything to add before we go on?
no, I don't think we do. So I guess it's about time to go to a vote.
Get to
right?
that fucking vote.
Get to that
cucks.
fucking boot.
So,
All right, so Dave, do you mind giving us a countdown?
C-O-U-N-T.
What?
The final countdown.
What?
Did the little bit of metal version.
Okay, but yes. Jess,
All right.
are you willing to do the countdown?
yeah, I'll do
Go.
it.
All right.
3, 2,
Two.
1.
Family
Family
Man.
World
Man.
Trade Center.
Wait, what?
I said Family Man.
Oh, you did?
You two
Yeah.
cucks are not
Yeah.
real patriots. And damn it, I want to talk about the World
No.
Trade Center more.
I would like to talk about the World Trade Center more, but that was a boring ass movie. Yeah,
Hey, come on.
No, yeah, definitely me and Jess.
We're gonna talk about Snowden more. Nicolas Cage isn't even in the freaking movie. We're gonna talk about the World Trade Center over here.
He's not really in or doing anything in the World Trade Center.
He's very busy being buried next to a guy who is on fire for a second.
And God frowns on that guy's relationship. I'm sorry. No.
We have to argue.
Yeah, for the record,
You
I am
fucking
completely fine with
reactionaries
interracial
are
relationships. I've been in one
Listen.
for 4 years. I was in one.
No.
Listen, okay, so I think we should give Mike time to give his case here. Why do you choose World
Let me
Trade
plead
Center?
my case.
Yo, it's 6,000 degrees in here. I'm gonna go outside. You guys can argue all you want.
All right. I gotta piss really bad. But I need to bring you guys over to my side, and I think after I make my case, we'll all agree with me.
Okay.
9/11 was a really sad big event.
I think it was funny.
I think it owns
Well, I
actually.
mean, sometimes you laugh so hard you cry.
and sometimes you piss your pants.
Yeah, which I'm going to right now. But I just want to say to all those people, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You can cut this out.
That's okay. Don't worry. We'll just have it. We'll give you a second, okay?
All
We'll
the
give you a
people
second.
that we
We'll give you a second. However much time you need.
It's okay, man.
But I'm going to plead my case. 9/11 was funny, and World Trade Center was boring as shit. So.
all the people that we lost on that day.
And Family Man
I
was
think
good
it's
and funny.
disrespectful to the families of all the ones that we lost on that day that we're not going to do the World Trade Center movie.
Nah, we're doing Family Man again. And
I think
It is a little disrespectful to their memories, but their memory has been respected enough by like the entire rest of this fucking country for 20
yeah, I
years.
mean, literally, we killed and displaced millions of Middle
Hear
Easterners
me
for
out.
9/11.
this movie inspired one of the greatest events in history.
Oh, okay.
The war in Iraq,
To be fair, that was a pretty cool moment in
which
American
was
history.
started after this movie and not 9/11.
And that's the thing. That was probably one of the most important moments in American history. Halliburton Raytheon gang.
we love Raytheon in this house, and we hope.
Go Blackwater.
I've donated to weapons that have killed your kids.
Fuck yeah.
But
Hell yeah.
I just want to say to all the other patriots out there like me, I feel like this movie should have won because you cut me open, you're seeing red, white, and blue, and that's what I'm bleeding. And
Cut me open into pieces.
Exactly.
9/11 was my last resort to gain sovereignty over my country because America keeps bombing it.
And I just think that all these people worked so hard to live on that day. And we just really need to watch this movie for them.
Oh, yes.
Counterpoint. No.
No. Yeah, see, I really genuinely wanted World Trade Center to win because I want to talk more
I
about
did too, and
9/11.
I
That's
saw
some
the
fucking
title of the
funny
movie
jokes,
Family Man. I'm
but-
like, Family Man can't be good.
Yeah,
Like, and to be fair, it's not a great movie,
it's not.
but it's better than I expected, and
Well,
it's at
Family
least
Man is
got more to talk about the World Trade
it
Center. than the
made me
movie.
more entertained at least.
Yeah,
because
like, I
World
was-
Trade Center was just like really boring.
There
honestly.
were not a whole lot of lulls in Family Man. Like, I genuinely was like engaged throughout a good amount of the movie, even if it was kind of stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas World Trade Center, like I fucking like zonked out a lot of that fucking movie. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I was barely paying attention, but that's how I know it's a good movie.
That's true.
Well, I'm finally. Well, no. I guess I have been on the right side of every vote here that's pissed off you.
Yeah,
guys,
yeah,
even
exactly.
in this
And I
case.
think this is the first time that I've sided with Jess on a vote that I like won, that it was a unanimous.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and I
So
mean,
that's something.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are wrong and commies, and I'm.
It's because we're
a real
married. Now I'm gonna
patriot.
make you watch Family Man.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Not that other chick flick, World Trade Center.
All right, but yes, Family
Shout out to
Man,
all the normal couples out there.
all those normie
Yeah.
couples, and all the normal couples, according to that one guy.
Shout out to all the fucking whites.
God.
And by the way, as I always say, broaden your horizons, good sir. There are plenty of other lovely WC that would probably wouldn't love to date that person because he's a massive racist, but would probably love to make his acquaintance someday and maybe change his mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And-
true.
And maybe if he
Yes.
stops being a racist piece of shit, he could actually get laid at some point.
Yeah,
But
so
yes, Family
World
Man
Trade
moves
Center
on.
wins
Family moves on
to
into
the
the
next
bracket. Wreck-It Ralph.
The Family Man moves
By
on.
the way,
to the
Wreck-It
next
Ralph
part.
was going to be the original title for what happened on 9/11 because Ralph was a guy named Ralph was the person who planned.
Wreck-It Ralph. Mohamed Wreck-It Ralph Atta.
Yeah. But yes, Family Man moves on.
So the next movies are Teen Titans Go to the Movies
Fuck yeah.
and Ghost Rider.
Wait, the OG Ghost Rider.
Yes,
It's
not
Marvel
Ghost Rider.
versus Marvel?
Yeah. Yes, Teen Titans, very Marvel.
But it will be DC versus Marvel. That'll be very interesting. And the best DC and Marvel property.
The best DC versus Marvel property since Batman versus Superman.
But yes, tune into that episode when it gets dropped.
Absolutely.
Dropped
and
like a
if
body
you,
from the Tower 2, baby.
Dropped like a turd from
Tower
from
2.
Jessica's cat as we're recording sometimes.
Oh, yeah. You're
Yes.
talking about Jessica's pussy dropping a big old turd.
I don't even
That's-
have one yet.
Well, girls,
Well, you have one pussy though.
the girls poop out of their pussy, so you're gonna have to get used to that.
Oh. But yes, so that's all we have for you for Cage Fight this week. And just signing off here, Jess. And if you think interracial movies are abnormal and ruin a movie, then go fuck yourself.
Yeah. If you think interracial relationships are bad, we're gonna have a hard time, buddy.
Yeah, and I've been Mike, and World Trade Center 1. So.
And this is Taylor signing off. I can't wait to be a family man.
Yeah. Oh, Dave's outside smoking a
Oh,
cigarette.
hey,
Damn it.
Lois.
The one time he needed
Hey,
it.
Lois, what are we gonna do on
As-
9/11?
As Guile from Street Fighter would say, go home and be a family man.
And bye-bye.
I gotta piss.
Cage fight. Oh yeah. Cage fight. Here goes Cage.
This has been a Solid Work production.
Solid work. Solid work. Solid work. Hey, solid work.